cannot get a girl to work for you haven't fucked. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work.
Most of the people who approach me, like in the pimp game, they're not asking how to be pimp. They mostly come to me about how to approach women using body language. So I said, you have to understand, a lot of married guys can't wake their wives up to get them a tuna fish sandwich. What do you think I say to a woman in 30 seconds to make her want to sell her body on the corner for me for 12 hours? I said, it's certain power in language and this you use, but when I teach guys this, I don't teach them so that they can go out and do that. I teach them so that they can be the guy at the bar. I said, I'm 5'7" and I don't think I'm the most handsomest man in the world. Watch me leave with all the women in this party and it won't take me 5 minutes. I said, see that girl over there? Because most of my women are 6 feet and over because I have this obsession with tall women. I said,
you continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You fuck the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy, you're always at work, you can come work for me. So, as I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work. No one's gonna say yes.
And I just come lean in her ear and all of a sudden she grabs her purse and I said, it's that easy. I said, you just don't know what to say, when to say, how to say it. You haven't been watching her body language. You haven't been watching her movements. You didn't watch how many times her eyes dipped down and came back up. You know, things like that. I said, you don't know what to say. And that's what I was, that's what I usually instruct guys to. When they say, you're teaching people how to pimp, I said, no, I'm not. I'm teaching them how to have one brain submit to the will of theirs. Now,
that girl who does say yes is doing it. She doesn't like you. She doesn't know you. She doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money. Any girl who wants money that bad is gonna skank you and leave you when she realizes you get a big cut of it. So even if you do get a girl to say yes that way, even if you do say to a girl, look, let's make some money, she's only in it for the money. She's not in it to please you. If she's only in it for the money, she's gonna get pissed off with her cut. Because they're gonna Google up how much a token's worth, how many tokens they made, and all that shit. And get pissed off with their cut. Remember the tax thing, so you want to pay them 30% instead of 50%. It's important for your profitability. So you don't want a girl who's in it for money. You want a girl who's in it to be with you. So you meet a girl, you take her on dates, you fuck her, whatever. She passes the PhD test. Then you start saying things like,
submit to the will of theirs. Now, that could be on the job. That can be used parentally. We do it with our children every day. You know, how do you get this kid to clean his room who wants to play his PlayStation? Well, there are certain things you can say. It doesn't have to be threats. If you can't outsmart a 40-year-old, you really need to go back to school.
Yeah.
But there's things you can say to make that child, wow. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, they're doing their homework. I said, so you can take these skills anywhere, but that's something you really don't know at 19, 20, 21. You figure you can only use those skills.
Oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling's a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So a lot of webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen, come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope everybody is feeling good, feeling fine, and welcome. I'm so glad you could join. Today, we're going to observe some pretty salacious stuff. That's the best way I can describe it because, folks, we're going to be looking at the one and the only formerly most Googled human on the planet. And we should be concerned when the similarities, and by the way, good evening, Lita Caproni, the one and only official, unofficial, completely official co-host and sidekick. And thank you for being here. With 24 seconds of the dial, we observe two pimps mirroring one another, one looking very intellectual about it, and the other, well, just being a brute. And frankly, it's hard to tell the difference in the end, because either way, You know what time it is. It's time to look up.
In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. You, your bottom bitch, the new girl, go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl.
I'd say that's kind of cowardly in a lot of ways. I understand why he's doing it.
This is like the
It's
carrot
classic
and not
lover
the
boy.
stick, right? When it comes to control and influence.
Well, that depends on that particular technique.
Okay.
You know, I have, in certain instances I display, I talk about the elephant technique, the lobster technique, the frog technique. You can use the carrot and the stick, but eventually you have to change out the carrot. You know, it's a lot of...
And Lita Caproni says, which one looks
techniques.
brute and which
Not
one
all
looks
control.
intellectual? They look
I
the
call them
same to me.
manipulation.
And Lita,
Because they're not steering, they're guiding.
That's actually my
Big
point.
difference. You don't steer an
Is
airplane.
when
You just crash into a mountain. You kind of guide.
the situation and the logic boils down to the same result. What is the difference between intellectually
You're not really
or
steering.
clinically
You kind of
taking apart a subject and making it normalized as
Sure.
comparative
Yeah,
to
you're not really
just
steering, you're
being...
This is why your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so
A brute about it.
Good
Like a
first
keto.
girl.
I don't think either one is respectable. I don't think either one should be revered. I don't think either one should be ignored. For what? The fuck that shit is. Hello, everybody.
Not a bad place to learn how to surf.
And welcome. Let me turn the cacophony off. The pimp's behind me. I'm AronMSound, and this is the show known as Lookup, the remix, where I interject myself into a conversation that nobody seems to be asking me to be a part of, and I wonder why. Maybe because I tend to take it somewhere that people don't want the conversation to go, because it tends to be, well, let's say uncomfortable. I try to stretch the scenario. I try to take it into areas that maybe people aren't looking, and just to look at folks in their own words oftentimes, which is hard to argue with, I think. And so when I bring these things up, I do it because I think that we're living in a time where many of us create our own mental prisons. And I'm not a self-help show. I'm not an expose show. I'm a conversation. I'm a meme. I'm a person who wants to bring these things to light so that we, and my voice is cracking because of course I'm going through my my second teenage years. And hello and welcome, and welcome to you all, by the way. Thank you for being here. So, I'm looking at this and seeing the mirror and seeing that one is just a glorified, after the mid-90s hip-hop gangster rap scene, which I was very much a part of directly, so I can speak on this topic directly and say that, yeah, we were glorifying something we wanted to be. Quali called it gangster rap. He called it fantasy rap, meaning that none of us were really that, but a few were. But it instigated a whole group of us to do things that we probably wouldn't have done otherwise, because we wanted to be that way. But that's what you do when you're young. For some, it led them down a path that didn't work out so well. We'll look at that too. But one of the great examples today of grifting in that society, in that belief structure, in that hyperbolic ideology where you got to puff yourself up to live up to your home slice's expectation. And I say that as a cynical statement of the fact that I use homeboy, home slice, and homie as really true. Like that means you're my friend, or like for real. I grew up in the valley, so you're lucky I don't say brah all the time. Anyways, and Emily, welcome. Lita, Aaron, Stream Elements. Yes, indeed. And why would I put it this way? Because look, I'm very normal, 80s, 90s human being. I was influenced by everything and by everyone that was around me. So I understand the capitulation to want to be part of a tribal scenario. I understand about wanting to be part of a group because, frankly, I've just never been part of a group. Why? I'm me. That's a whole other story. We can cover that someday, by the way. Someday. But first, I want to drop this big ass. Boom. So if you're riding in your car, hopefully that just dropped nicely. Hopefully. I don't know. It's up to you. Anyways, what's the focus of today? It's the fact that normal people can be influenced to do terrible things by people they look up to without meaning to do so, but for the glorification of the subject matter. So first, we're starting with some premise, some example. Where is Paula Gray? Missing my bestie daughter. Yes, Emily. I don't know where Paula is. She might be working. Paula's probably, what time is it right now? It's for 7. Oh, no, she's probably, well, I don't know. It is a Wednesday, a hump day, a midday. And, I'm gonna, by the way, a little, aside that has nothing to do with the show, just so everybody knows. I am, basically hanging out occasionally over on the Thorpe broadcast. And actually today, I sent $20 in on a super chat. And you may be like, well, Aaron, why? What are you doing over there in that circus? And I don't know if you know this, but I do enjoy the circus. But I'm also in quite the viewer of storyline and arc and understanding the truths behind things, the truths behind people. I want to understand what influences folks, and I want to understand what creates happiness, what drives a person to do things. And I have many ways to do that. I have many ways to be. So I don't want anybody to misunderstand my behaviors, because that is something easily misunderstood with FAE, false association equivalency, meaning that because I'm there, somehow. For instance, somebody last night in Xenia chat, which, if I'm in Xenia chat, I must be a Xenia. And I actually referred to myself as a Xenia barrel kid, bottom of the barrel. Why? Because I believe in inclusion, folks. There's a lot of people in these groups that are disenfranchised, that are off on the fringes in their own mind, and that they're part of an intellectual group that is self-expressing, smart, and doesn't believe in the bias. And yet they'll express these biases in incredibly odd ways because of the filtering of the modern society. And this influence is exactly why I'm in those communities. Because as you know, one of my goals is to actually address these folks directly and engage. I don't leave anybody out. And, when I say that, I mean, I don't leave anybody out. I am over everywhere. I try to be everywhere. I've seen the end of the net. Which is why I kind of would like to put Andy Tate to bed. Metaphorically. God, can you imagine what's coming off that guy? I mean, seriously, can you imagine? I don't know. I can imagine, and I don't want to. It's terrible. Emily, I agree. We all can watch if we want to. I am taking part, though. Like, for instance, I sent $20 in today because Ben, the patriarch, and Grace are running a campaign, a fund to raise money so that Grace and the kids and Ben can all come out to California for an anime convention that the kids want to go to. And there's a lot to this story. It's a Korean drama arc, really. It's a moral play, and the moral play portion is how the audience gets excited and how much they project and interject when they don't actually know the totality of the story even. And I find that incredibly fascinating and telling about the entirety of the generation that's really enamored with it. The generation that spent no time searching out all the surface material, but they didn't go back in the history and really look at the open face realities that were available to them It was more about them fulfilling the biases of what they wanted to find. And at some point I may cover that. I just don't know. It's such a big story, and I think that they will be in front of your face sooner than later, because the reason I ever saw this story was because it was put in front of me, and somebody said, "What do you think about this?" So anyways, yeah. So I sent him $20 today, and I did it because Darius, an orbiter, the DGG, has embedded himself in that clan, and I believe, as I think those folks never have very good, real plans. I just think that they're all just kids trying to get some kind of what they consider clout, which is crazy. Anyhow, let's talk about Andy, our friend Andy, and I'm going to run this back just a little bit so we get the whole totality, because I want you to hear the whole thing. And this is really some damning material, because this counters all that we know about good old Andy Tate's denials. This is everything that Andy doesn't want you to see. Doesn't want you to see. I can't do that right. We'll get to a video where somebody does that very well, by the way, at some point. And we may not. I don't know. I've got so many clips. This guy is such a figure. In fact, we can, what is it? The channel I was sending super chat. Specifically today, it was Ben Thorpe, aka Abel, and his daughter Grace is Grace Thorpe, aka Joan. And I warn you right now, this is not for the light of heart. The beginning, this is true family drama, covered in a moral play, covered in an Andy Kaufman, G.G. Allen storyline of trolling and epic levels of incitement of an audience that is, unusual. I think it's near Abramovich genius on a very disturbingly G.G. Allen facet, and it's just something, the roots of it in itself, what has caused the commotion around them in itself, if you really want to talk about it, is one of the most horrifying things people could go through, much less how everybody dealt with it, in my opinion, like really messed up, as humans do. And so, yeah. I've been on a couple panels of theirs when the topic starts surrounding things that make me want to poke in and see, because I hear a little reality peeking its head through, and people are getting somewhere in the conversation. And I give credit to RD. RD has gotten so much key. Oh yeah, Auntie was super sus, but she's not the auntie. She's not actually an auntie. She's just a rando. She's super rando, actually. And those titles there's so much. There's so much, and it's so complex. And I don't know if you folks know about moral play, but I'll just explain that a moral play is what Andy and Tristan, the Taints, I get that wrong every time. I'm sorry. I apologize to no one about that. Language. I want to get monetized someday. Sure. Okay. That's going to be likely. I started the show out with a straight up fuck. Seriously, I started the show with a fuck right away. Yeah. And then they played, it's so hilarious, by the way. Why did my Ladybug video get 1,000 extra views out of that? That's weird. I never looked at the, oh my gosh, come on. It still hurts my head. Because that's where it gets it gets to the level of creeping me out a little bit. A little bit. I understand that there's a lot of just people, what? Why does he have a Ladybug song? I can explain the whole thing, but new camera, ex-girlfriend with a 4-year-old, trying to appease girlfriend. And actually, it was cool because there was like 1 million ladybugs in the yard at that one time. Anyway, it's a cute video. Apparently, other people think so too. So, why am I there? It's really because I've never seen anybody manipulate so many different groups so aptly. Wag the dog on a level that well, 3D chess is one thing, but, you know, chess on the scale of the tree of life is a whole other one. And playing on very specific poles of emotional values that are started by the puritanical thought that actually ends up, strangely, in what I'm about to just play all the way through as I shrink down to an Aksha size. Aksha! Oh, yes, please. If you're just joining us, make sure to subscribe, hit the button, and if you wouldn't mind, give it a big ol', one of the big ones right there. Hey, poo-poo sauce! Grande! Elbow! I'm sorry, it's just because it's fucking hilarious. Elbow grande! I was just explaining why I would ever spend time over at Thorpland. The Thorptation? That weird world, and interplay with that stuff. You know, G.G. Allen I would have bought a ticket to G.G. Allen. I would have bought a ticket to Abramovich. I would have bought a ticket to all of these things and had the moral complexity and emotional intellectualism to be able to, take it in without taking part. Does that make sense? Because observation of art, observation of the moral play, and understanding what you're watching is so important to comprehension in life. And that's what is so concerning about someone like, you know, our friend here, Andy Tate. Fuck, what did I just stop saying? I gotta learn how to, look, I got they and them in my head. I can not say Andy, okay, would you help me with this? Andy Tate, sorry, is it wrong for me to say it's an impediment to get over ferocious actual criminal behavior of somebody against other humans? I think so. I think it would be an impediment. Abogande! Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand, we're all 7-year-olds on the inside, and that just plays, especially because once you explained how to say your name appropriately, and, you know, I own. Don't tell me to own. And by the way, speaking of owning, I brought back the mushroom-eating bear, because she is not wearing any underwear. And that's free to me. That's free to me. I want people to be like, why do you have... And somebody did ask me, actually, Ben even asked me, which, this is how you know Ben didn't do anything wrong. Ben asked me why I have so many goddamn cartoons on the page, and when I told him why, he said, effective. Interesting. Okay. Okay. They're interesting folks. And he's strangely very educated, but that's neither here nor there. What we're talking about is someone who's not very educated, who faked a lot of bullshit, and I can say that full tilt now without just wondering about it, looking at the information in the background and trying to, like, you know, wank out on it. And by wank out, I mean, like, and sometimes you just end up going down a rabbit hole, an Arbit Zero. Sorry, before they push me off into a corner, where you have so much information. And by the way, the information, some of the peak information today that I'm going to pair into all this, just to show you the bad example, I've shared with you before, but it turns out it's been scrubbed. It's been scrubbed from Fresh and Fit. They've re-edited the video, so it's no longer there. Isn't that fucking convenient for those motherfuckers? But what's not convenient is that I still have it, and although I still have my yammering on top of it, folks. And please excuse the yammering. Or not. It's up to you. You're watching, so good on you, and thank you. Thank you for being here. By the way, if you didn't know, and you just joined us, I'm AronMSound, and this is Lookup, the show where I interject myself into a conversation where nobody asked me to be a part of, and by way of hoping I extend it to somewhere that informs you, informs me, we go somewhere, and, hopefully deprogram some of this shit out of the atmosphere. Like a potpourri, would you say, for the poo-poo smell from the flinging of the poo-poo. Something like that. No. Anyhow, hopefully I approach this a little differently. And I took a lot of time. And I'll tell you what, folks, I was pained over this before I shared this, because I'm taking you into, of course, the Azure spheres. And the... Oh. In the Azure spheres. In the Azure sphere. What is the Azure spheres? You're all adults. Figure it the fuck out. Anyhow, yeah, some people can extrapolate from incomplete information and... Anyhow, don't look at your hands. That would be where you run off in that direction. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, come and visit us at the Ministry of the Flying Pig, because you are awesome. And that's where I can put the period in that, because you're not Andy Tate. Tate! This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a serious problem today. If you didn't know, you can, by the way, donate to a local daycare center that has not gotten back to me. So I'm just gonna. I think I'm just gonna go over to the park across the way where the daycare runs. Otherwise, and just walk in and hand it to somebody. And be like, "There you go," and they'll be like, "What is this?" Don't worry. And we're going to take care of it that way, because there's a little more in there, actually, which is awesome. Thank you to those who've given. Also, you can send me lunch. Where is it? It's probably in the about, or it's in the about of my page, or you can send me lunch. It's a little more expensive than I would suggest, but I saw a video of the Repo Man at Tate Mansion. Oh yes, and we'll get into a little of that too, because Hassan Abi has a wonderful little bit of video for us. Oh, a wonderful bit of video for us. And yeah, we're gonna go through a bunch of things, but first let me finish off the Azure sphere. The Azure spheres. What key am I actually in? I haven't even looked. Oh, I'm in. Okay, that makes sense. And is it mixolydian? It is. And the progression I didn't even look. There it is. Yeah, okay, I understand now where we're at. Yeah. Yes. By the way, if you didn't know, I put all the music together about 20 minutes ago, and I was rushing around. I was trying to figure out what the fuck I really could share with you that you haven't seen already. And I realized that I wanted to compare these things together. I wanted to look at the old, the new. I wanted to look at, and I'm not just talking about Andy Tate. I wanted to look up at these things that we take for granted, as if Andy came up with them. But they've been here. They're in the backbone of us. They're, oh yeah, poo-poo sauce. Did somebody go home the other night, or did everybody win? Poo-poo sauce plays serious games. Anyhow, hey, drink a little water for that one. Oh. Yeah. They. Speaking of which, just like that, you can learn how to not say Andy Tate. Okay, I'm going to stop that now. You can also send socks and things, stickers, magnets. I'm open to all that. I do not make an income from this, and that's my shill. There it is. Someday, maybe I will. And I have found out that there is a marijuana vendor. An adult smoking vendor who is advertising on the use of the tubes, and that would be more my speed. I could get behind that because, you know, they're not Tish Henley. That's really, I don't want to ever end up being like, does my skin look amazing? That's not my thing. I will get behind some good growers though, because that's an art. Let me tell you, I'm down for art. Because art is life. And I think a lot of the behavior here takes away from art. I think it takes away from our general cohesion. I think it takes away from our belief in ourselves. I think it takes away from young men's abilities to cite what is healthy and what is not. I think it also does that to young women, because then they see this and think that, well, is that what a man is? I think it plays bad for everybody. I think society looks at this and then goes, well, if we normalize this, you know, there'll be plenty for the front lines later. Isn't that amazing? Which is really what I, in my heart of hearts, believe a lot of this is about. Creating a whole generation that'll just run straight off into war, beating their chest. Because trust me, the last 50 years has not proven to provide a lot of those. And with the vacuum of disenfranchisement that a lot of these shows and behaviors in their own little, you know, factions have subsidized off of pain, disorder, anger, self-loathing, lack of experience or knowledge. Oh yes, I wish that was him. That was definitely not Andrew Tate. But when you see that it's Andrew Tate, it does really feel truly like Andrew Tate wasn't dancing. But I mean, really, he was dancing wonderfully. It's too bad. It's too bad. But it isn't. But it is. And I apologize to no one about that. Wait, did he do yes, exactly. Yes. He did an art. I think we should say. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. We could put it up on them. Anyhow, speaking of which, I think the Azure spheres are just about to crash, so let's... Hey, Andy, tell us the whole of your theory called the PhD.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun.
So wait, let's start there. Because I want to play that like 4 times. Because it's so just like, what fucking nightmare. Oh my God. I actually have one of my lighting instruments in the shot today. Because cats. Sorry, not multiple. Single. Oh, that's better. I was wondering why I was a little hot on one side. I was like, boy, it's warm. It's. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I've also brought back the dancing clown. So that's, yes, that is a reference. All right, Andy. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Tate. The
recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system.
Okay.
I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You fuck the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like,
wow.
Yeah, but you know, you're always busy, you're always at work, you can come work for me. So, as I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit, it doesn't work. No one's gonna say yes. And any girl who does say yes is doing it, she doesn't like you, she doesn't know you, she doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money. Any girl who wants money that bad is gonna skank you and leave you when she realizes you.
Oh, so he's targeting.
So even if you do get a girl to say yes that way, even if you do say to a girl, look, let's make some money, she's only in it for the money. She's not in it to please you. And if she's only in it for the money, she's gonna get pissed off with her cut. Because they're gonna Google up how much a token's worth, how many tokens.
So he's already telling you that he's
get pissed off with their
scamming them.
Remember the tax thing, so you want to pay them 30% instead of 50%. It's important for your profitability. So you don't want a girl who's in it for money. You want a girl who's in it to be with you. So you meet a girl, you take her on dates, you fuck her, whatever. She passes the PhD test. Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling is a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat.
So he's talking about getting them somewhere
you're
else.
always
And then
working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time
getting
together?
them to work.
Work for you doing what? So you'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that.
Yes,
okay, I know you don't want to
pimping.
do that, but listen. Come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. You, your bottom bitch, the new girl, go out for fucking a nice dinner. Your bottom bitch.
There's
is
the
one who
pimping
does the
language.
selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there and go, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit, and now I do this and I make so much money, and the guys all love me and they adore me, and on my birthday they send me presents, and I get so much money, blah, 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 and it's so much fun, and we stay at home, and da-da-da-da, and we're gonna go to Thailand soon, we're gonna be working in Thailand, and we're gonna stay there for as long as we want, you should come with us, it's gonna be so much fun, da-da-da-da, martinis, 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 bang, threesome. Slam them both, your bottom bitch knows, this girl's like, okay, well I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day, so the new girl can sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk.
So he's describing how to
put on the
make
fucking
the con
chatterbait,
work.
100 tokens per shot.
And
the guys will send loads of money to
by
get the girls
con-
drunk because guys.
Let me just stop for a second. So, when you're talking about conning somebody, it is a trust game. Always. And the long con, to connive, well, that's something that you have to build implicit trust, complete and utter belief, a suspension of disbelief of your mark. And, yeah, Emily asks, what's up with these folks self-snitching on YouTube? Yeah, you tell me. It is quite insane how some folks of a certain age group really can't tell the difference between reality and the internet. And they think that these things will get buried. And most of them do. But enough of them get watched and recorded, as we know. Enough of them do. And enough of us are out there who, you know, don't take this shit very lightly, where we're really like seeing that there's something to be concerned about in the background. That the world is moving in kind of strange ways, you know? And so we record. We press bloop. Yeah, and I would agree with Lita Caproni when she says, fuck his accent. It's so ridiculous. I agree. Pick one. Pick a place. Pick something. I know, no, it's not his fault, but pick something! Anyhow. I apologize, I don't, if I'm offending Andy Tate. I'm a 4-year-old. Goodness gracious. Deja vu. Vujate, babe. All right. Yeah, you just saw my whole little thing, okay? Just had a very, very interesting little deja vu. That's a good deja vu, though. That was a good one. And then you got a vujade, so either way. I need to get back to the quantum physics stuff so we can talk about how the future is the past is the future. But that's probably like a Sunday thing, right? Anyhow. Andy Tate. And he just doesn't say letters. I think there's just letters he doesn't like. That's what it comes down to. Maybe it's just
Drunk girls. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time. You say it's your new job now. You don't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls. You do not recruit girls any other way. You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course.
same as his other course.
The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam
You know what this sounds like?
until after I've had sex with
Like
the girl.
in the pimp game.
If you're on dates and you try
know
to
what this
mention
sounds
it and
like?
shit,
How to
it
approach
just
women.
doesn't work. It puts them all. I'd never do that.
This
That's
sounds like
disgusting.
this
I'm not
interview,
a whore. It's just
Wake
not.
your wives up to get them a tuna fish sandwich. What do you think?
This sounds like a lot like this interview with this actual
Like in the
former
game,
pimp.
They're not asking how to be pimps. They mostly come to me about how to approach women using body language. So I said, you have to understand, a lot of married guys can't wake their wives up to get them a tuna fish sandwich. What do you think I'll say to a woman in 30 seconds to make her want to sell her body on the corner for me for 12 hours? I said, it's certain power in language and this you use, but
Predatory
what I teach guys
behavior,
is,
Emily,
I don't
that is
teach them
correct.
so that they can go out and do that. I teach them so that they can be the guy at the bar. I said, I'm 5'7", and I don't think I'm the most handsomest man in the world. Watch me leave with all the women in this party.
And by the way, let me just side note to this. Side note to this, gentlemen. I would second that you don't need to be the best looking man in the bar. You don't need to be the richest man in the room. You don't need to be the wittiest guy around. You don't need to be anything that any of these fucking gurus tell you to be. Just be you. Be good at being you. That's my advice. Be social. Be kind. Be interested. And you'll find that the world tends to treat you well, in most cases, and that those that don't treat you well in the world are easy to spot, and you can stay away from them most of the time. You're always going to have the tough times. That can't be avoided. But you don't have to buy into a scheme. You can take and pick and choose little pieces of things that work for each and every one of us. We don't have to live in a Tower of Babel. We don't have to live under the pressure of a Ben-Ben in an obelisk, a mental prison we build for ourselves. No, friends. As a matter of fact, we don't have to do any of this shit.
Most of my women are 6 feet and over because I have this obsession with tall women. I said, you can get, I said, watch this.
Any man, any woman can have anybody they want, within reason, within their circles.
You don't know what to say, when to say, how to say it. You haven't been watching her body language, you haven't been watching her movements, you didn't watch her
they in fact
dip down and came back
are
up.
a match, socially,
things like that.
emotionally, sexually.
And that's what I was, that's what I usually instruct guys.
These things happen. We used to call it Mutt and Jeff.
I'm teaching them how to have one brain submit.
What up, Road Music too?
Now, that could be on the job. That can be used parentally. We do it with our children every day.
So what he's talking about is subjugating another, like a child.
There's certain things you can say. It doesn't have to be threats. If you can't outsmart a 4-year-old, you really need to go back to school.
Yeah.
But there's things you can say to make that child, wow. And next thing you know, they're doing their homework. I said, so you can take these skills anywhere, but that's something you really don't know at 19, 20, 21. You figure you can only use those skills.
I mean, hear how there's a lot of similarities in what's being said here.
Right.
Except it's more intellectual. It's fancier.
That depends on that particular.
It's got a lot more.
Okay.
I have
juice to it.
In certain instances, I display
sleight of hand,
elephant technique, the lobster technique.
Well, I'm sorry, a little.
You can use the carrot and the stick, but eventually you have to change out the carrot. It's a lot of mind control techniques, and I don't call them control. I call them.
Thank you, Road Music. I appreciate you.
Because they're not
appreciate you being
guiding. It's a big difference. You don't steer an airplane. You just crash into a mountain. You kind of guide it. It kind of flies itself with the current and the wind.
See, he's got a finesse. This person has an actual finesse.
You're not really steering it.
As opposed to the other person that we're covering today.
Guiding it along the way. Or surfing, if you're familiar with surfing.
Sure.
Yeah, you're not really steering. You're kind of going with the current and with the wave, and it kind of takes you to the shore.
It's okay.
See, will that pop up that way? I know it's already ready. Hold on 1 second. Should bring us to our... All right. Here we go. This week...
Am I a bad person?
Something
because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I fucking loved how much you hated it. Turned me on. Why am I like that? Why? I am one of the most dangerous men on this planet. Sometimes you forget exactly how lucky you were to get fucked by me. Would you rather me pin you down and make you do things you didn't like, or would you rather fuck? You didn't like that I was thinking I can do whatever I want to. That's what it is. I'm the smartest person on this fucking planet. Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't fucking pass out. Chill the fuck out. Jesus Christ, I thought you were cool. What's wrong with you?
Unfortunately, no. We know that not to be AI. And the reason we know not to be AI is because I have another recording, a video of him that I will share that it's been scrubbed. That was a portion of Fresh and Fit that I took from the live, and then basically spoke over on the same day that it was videoed. Unfortunately, it's not, because we have him many times giving the same kind of advice that you may have just missed.
Normal, no mention of webcam. You fuck the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, Yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me. So, as I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work. No one's going to say yes. And any girl who does say yes is doing it. She doesn't like you. She doesn't know you. She doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money. Any girl who wants money that bad is going to skank you and leave you when she realizes you get a big cut of it. So even if you do get a girl to say yes that way, even if you do say to a girl, look,
I would say
some money,
definitely.
She's only in it for the money. She's not
I
in
think
it to please you.
Less than a
She's
sociopath.
only
I
in
think
it for
he's
the money.
more of a just a
She's
con
pissed
man.
off
He's a
of her
grifter.
car.
And
We're gonna Google
we'll find out more about that.
How many tokens they made.
Coming up here.
And get pissed off with their car. Remember the tax thing, so you only have to pay them 30% instead of 50%. It's important for your profitability. So you don't want a girl who's in it for money. You want a girl who's in it to be with you. So you meet a girl, you take her on dates, you fuck her, whatever. She passes the PhD test. Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me.
Yes, exactly.
Traveling is great.
Road music.
About this business is mobile.
A pimp.
If you can
But
find a
pimps
good Airbnb with
are
good internet,
grifters.
you can run it somewhere
It's a different
else.
kind of con.
So it's a good little caveat to throw in.
It's part of the
And
deal.
you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together?
As someone who's actually met
I don't
a
want
number
to
of
do that.
the
So, okay, I know you don't
world's
want to do that.
more
Listen,
foremost,
call us on a meeting.
well-known
Let's just talk
pimps
about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But let me explain it to you properly.
large events.
In fact, I'll bring one of the girls
Made
who
sure
works.
they had decent seats.
You, the bottom bitch, the new girl, go out.
This is
fucking
definitely
nice
not how they
dinner.
behave.
Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your
This
bottom
is-
bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's
this
so
is very
important to
pimping.
have a good first girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there and go, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit, and now I do this and I make so much money, and the guys all love me and they adore me, and on my birthday they send me presents, and I get so much money, blah, 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 and it's so much fun, and we stay at home, and da-da-da-da, and we're gonna go to Thailand soon, we're gonna be working in Thailand, and we're gonna stay there for as long as we want, you should come with
Now,
us.
what
it's
he's
so much
describing
fun,
here once again
da-da-da-da.
is the
martinis,
lover
martinis,
boy.
martinis, bang, threesome. Slam them both, your bottom bitch knows, this girl's like, okay, well I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day, so the new girl can sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk. Give them a bottle of vodka, put on the fucking chatterbait, 100 tokens per shot. The guys will send loads of money to get the girls drunk, because guys like drunk girls. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time, and say it's your new job now, you haven't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls. Do not recruit girls any other way. You cannot get a girl to work for you having fucked. So the recruitment process is,
Let me bring this also.
Hey, what's good, fam? It's your man, Mr. Diamond, out here fucking around at my man Cooler K Studio. Yeah, man, you know, I might bless the mic for him a little bit today, man. Just get some of that ears, you know what I'm saying? Make one of them tracks really, really float, you dig? But look here, man. Keep the ball rolling. Today's question, man, comes from a cat called himself Tone Bone 145. Tone Bone.
And Tone Bone 145, wherever you are, I hope you understand your email was answered.
That is
Tells you how long ago this
so
was.
fucking magnificent,
welcome.
man. I just hope I do it some justice. You did what I'm saying. Tone Bone 145 wants to know, how do you talk to a woman? How do you talk to a woman? You understand that you want to pimp her? Say, man. Look, it ain't no right way. You did what I'm saying. It ain't no right way. Fucked up thing about it is a whole bunch of wrong ways. You left me your email, dude. Look, I'm gonna get at you more in-depthly on the email. We communicate, might fuck around and exchange numbers, man, because I really, really read that passage that you sent me. I feel like you kept it real and hanging from your heart. So, hey, man, I'm gonna do my part. Bless you with the game that I was blessed with.
He's very serious about his pimping, by the way. I gotta give him that. This is 12 years ago, by the way. There's a video from 12 years
ago. As brief as I can, I'm gonna say it like this right here, man. It ain't no right thing to say. But I can tell you what worked for me. You dig what I'm saying? I can tell you what worked for me when I was doing my thing. First of all, the main thing that I'm gonna say to you, my brother, is have confidence. You dig what I'm saying? Be confident in yourself. Be confident in yourself that you can talk to any woman, anytime, about anything. You dig what I'm saying? Now, with that in mind, the second most important thing is
you do need to talk to them.
I understand that not all women can be pimped on. You dig what I'm saying?
Make contact.
Not even all hoes can be pimped on. Can't tell you this right here, and it might make it fly a little bit easier. dig what I'm saying? The notions of a pimp, the notions of a pimp can only be conceived in the mind of a hoe. So if a bitch is already want to be a hoe, or if she's already a hoe, or if she got any kind of contemplation on curiosity on what really go on in the world of pimping and hoeing, then that's the motherfucker that you really want to be talking to. Moving right along.
So pick somebody who's already interested
besides having confidence
in your trade.
Have confidence in your game, man. Don't just introduce yourself. You dig what I'm saying? Present yourself. A woman got to know that, you know, you got to present yourself as a package.
And you may be looking at this and being like, what? I'm expressing what a serious and actual pimp sounds like, as comparative to the playtime pimp, who is actually a con man, who doesn't have what he has, who put a lot of people to work, and then took the sleaziest, worst route, and then has just added on to what he tried to make into an empire of a whole bunch of bad activities, especially now that he's been charged officially with those crimes, and they extend further than we thought they did, which is pretty hectic considering what they were before. And we'll get into that too. But really, we're just looking at the effect, the belief, where this comes from, all the things that were taken in the cultural identity, and how even in this situation, it seems like white folks and folks that are in the political chain that lean towards the alt-right can't help but take from black culture in one way or another. It seems very convenient considering the fact that most of these folks are, I mean, I know Andy is actually from a mixed background, but a lot of the people around Andy, I don't know if you realize this, are straight out alt-right white nationalists, straight out. And yeah, and why is there no news of Andy? No, well, Andy apparently has some ploy in the news media, and there's a lot of money around it. And Tate was definitely trapping them, it appears, but let's just keep going. Anyways, I think we get the idea. Look, there's so much culture that was just robbed inappropriately, and also just exploitation of all kinds of identities that are so easily consumed and sold as flamboyant or worthy or, you know, integrated, when we know that this is fucking nightmarish shit, that when you gotta play to that level of somebody who wants to be in the game, it's because they don't have any other options. You're playing to the lowest common denominator, who should have better options than getting caught up in a trap by some sociopathic fucking motherfucker who doesn't have a problem with violence. And that's actually one of the things about sex work, is that there is a prevalence of violence in sex work that isn't ordained by law. Something got off here. Oh. What happened there? It's like it decided it didn't want to be what it was, and now it is. That's weird. Let's give the Beatles a little more love, right? Wow. Having a very interesting... The orchestra is not playing along today. Sorry, folks. Normally I'm looking right at you talking, but now I'm editing live. It happens some days. There we go. All right, now back. When Tate got arrested, and they put him in the car, they took a picture of him inside the car. He had Illuminati symbol in his hands. Do you think there's something to that? Poo-poo sauce? To be frank, one of the problems with the term Illuminati is it refers to a group that doesn't exist anymore and isn't the one that most people think it is, and it's not referred to by that name. And so with the fact that he had that he refers to the Matrix and the Illuminati all the time, I find it very interesting because it's selling an idea where there's no direct connection. I'd say he's closer in connection to people in the Cambridge Analytica world, where politics and overthrow and like nationalism and or alt-right nationalism for the sake of the dollar and fear as a creation of vacuum for the sake of power is more their vein. I think they more appreciate what the Illuminati stands for, though. Because the Ben, as I refer to it, which is a more appropriate term for it, is made up of at least 5 different factions, and they all have really ornate, stupid names that change occasionally so that nobody can keep track of them. But definitely Golden Dawn, and definitely Hermetic Order, and definitely things that tend to be involved with triadic or Ra, or trying to live forever, piss worshippers. Those people who think they have sacred knowledge from ancient times, who purchase that knowledge because they have, there's 1,400 people with the majority of the money on the planet. Those are the folks you look at. They're really easy to see. They're pretty open. There's a couple of them, but that can hide themselves, apparently, because they got so much loot. But do we really have to worry about them? I contemplate this quite often. No. They will always be held at bay by the 7.999 billion others who won't ever eat cake, despite what Marie suggested, because we find out what happens. Can't see nothing new on his Pat from the new charge, but no pics, no more news. That's dumb. Yeah, no, it kind of fell off, and I think there's something to be said about that. It's I do believe the idea is the old, don't negotiate with terrorists idea, where you can wipe him away, where you can just quiet him out. And I think that's the better idea when you're talking about a personality who was, just 8 months ago, the most studied and Googled human. And that's where we move to, let me see, did I prep that correctly over here? Or am I going to search? I'm going to have to search for it, am I? Aren't I? Am I? And I may have to actually change devices. Change the devices. Yeah. How come that's not charging? It happens. Well, I think this is a good point to remind us all, actually, about a time period that wasn't that long ago, where,
You've no idea how much I've got to do. Remember, I haven't got your dream kitchen to make things easier. Mine's strictly the nightmare type. And I wish George would do something about it. All he's done so far is talk, and not with any real enthusiasm.
About moving, you mean?
We've looked at a couple of older houses, but that's no
improvement.
There's we've got an
those
older
charges
house.
Are also being re-reviewed and included in the current charges as some evidence.
The fifth freedom, maybe. Freedom from unnecessary drudgery. Freedom to go shopping when the urge hits you.
To go shopping when the urge hits you. Even they got more freedoms than the Cam girls, apparently.
Besides, my mother's been quite ill in Cleveland, and I've been thinking about taking the weekend off to visit her.
I've got to get my clothes.
You may be thinking to yourself, why the fuck is he sharing this video?
Beauties.
Oh, because she got duties.
This setup makes any day wash day for me.
Shalom and welcome, Abba.
And I can do my drawing in any kind of weather. With a gas dryer.
And like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you for being here.
Completely automatic.
Influencers who do influence folks in negative ways to hate
seeing this washer
themselves
in the
are
magazine.
never a good idea.
It's automatic too, isn't it? That's right.
And welcome.
Isn't there a little colored guide light that follows the operation through the various stages?
Oh yes, it has various stages on her washing machine. Why would I be sharing
I
this?
don't even have to
Because
watch
this
a
is the
clock.
trad wife they're talking about. This is exactly the woman that they envision.
Wait a minute.
It's night, and you want to know when this is from? 1955, when the world in their mind was perfect, when they could even go out and go their women could even go shopping. And I couldn't find my favorite Chevrolet ad from 1968, by the way, just to let you know how long this shit lasted, and how it wasn't actually that long. It was like 13 years. It's like, 13 or 40, because it took about 6 years after World War II to develop the Suburbia, and then the Atomic Family, and the idea of the Atomic Family, and then the World's Fair that sold it, and then the concept that one should have all the amenities in your house comes from Levittown, at the second wave of Levittown, and then where, if you're not familiar with that, that's where Suburbia really comes from. Outside, I believe it's Long Island, and oh yeah, not the traditional woman, wifey, mommy, yeah. Oh my God, can you imagine like the pressures and the drugs being taken to just keep up that facade? I can't imagine, because don't think that women were that different than they are now. I don't think so, because I know plenty of women from the 1950s, and we can just look at Margaret Mead. All right, women have not changed. Women and men are the same. We're just wearing different clothing. We have access to different information. We're the fucking same as we've always been. And that's one of the weirdest things about humankind is we do adapt, we do grow, but we just get better tools. Our features get more sloped and sly because we're dealing with wind. Adaptation is real, folks. And when you look at how far we've
You say
come.
you're going to visit your mother this weekend. Janie, my girl, this might prove a very...
we can hope that someday, soon, women might be able to read, write, heck, they might even be able to vote. Oh wait, no, they totally can, and we should leave it that way and stop fucking around with people like Pearly Things and the entire group that would press that anti-19th Amendment. Because, by the way, I've said this before, when you get rid of the anti-19th Amendment, I don't know if you know how the, all that works, but the laws, specifically the amendments, are held up by each other's examples. Just trying to break it down to the most simple terms here. So you don't get the other amendments afterwards without the facets of the amendments before it. They all work together. They're symbiotic. So you don't get to strike one, really, without it affecting everything else. So without 19th Amendment, a right to vote, then you can't get civil rights. And that's really the plan there, I'd say. This gen of women, Lita says, were smoking and drinking while pregnant. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. They were like, it's fine if I just drink this gin on a daily. It's good for the baby. I've been vacuuming since 3 a.m. because the meth that the doctor gave me keeps me, as mommy's little helper would say, up and tidy. Yeah, women were subjected to a lot of shit. And were sold a whole bill of goods that still is in the background to today. When they talk about the patriarchy, what they don't realize isn't the patriarchy; it's the marketing patriarchy of when you see Ad Men, was that the Mad Men? That was real. That's very real. I've got some documentary footage of that shit of that time period because I'm really into the history of advertising and marketing and how that affects people, and it's something I've been involved with. Wagging the dog and all. And by the way, the more I love telling people about that because the youngsters just don't want to believe you. They don't want to believe you. And that's fine. You've made my point, though. You're welcome. Anyway. Ooh. Yeah. Let's get back to Andy. Andy Taint. Andy Taint! Oh, that one's gonna die. Why? Is that not juicing? It is not juicing, folks. How can that not juice up over here? Juice! Oh, did I, kill the juice? The juices? Oh, it's a bad one. Oh, it's no bueno. Nah, it's no bueno. Bruh. Broken shit. Abba says, let's do uppers and drink this green fairy. The doctor said it's totally fine. Right, Art? Yeah, no, absolutely. And you gotta say it in a mid-Atlantic, darling, I think tonight we should drink all of the gin and the bourbon. The baby is just 8 months along. It won't affect him at all. And by the way, take these uppers so we can stay up till 3 a.m. 4 days from now. Yes, let's read some Kerouac. Yes, exactly. Now, we were seeing with the outcome of the 60s. I mean, the 60s and the 50s weren't that different, really. There was slight dress, really, truly. If you look at the difference, culturally, things didn't change until 64, 65. And literally, Christmas from 64 to 65 really had a huge change in culture and music. The Beatles came in, Rolling Stones. And I can get down that route because I did a bunch of research years ago on music and pop music in the 1960s. So, no diversity. Every woman looked like this. These women were basically, they were as non-white as you were getting in the films because Homegirl has brown hair. Yeah, and you can't see. I'm pointing with my pointer, but yes, absolutely, they would be lower class. Anyhow, where are we at with this? Let me see. Let me remind us a little bit more of what folks are trying to pull. Actually, you know what? Before I show that, oh goodness, let's talk about the scam. Let's talk about how much bullshit this guy actually was.
Andrew, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Tate has been charged with rape and human trafficking.
Prosecutors in Romania have filed formal charges against the controversial influencer Andrew Tate, his brother Tristan.
I'm talking about in the past tense because we can just count them out now, right?
Charges include rape, human trafficking, and forming an organized crime group, as well as illegally accessing a computer system and violence against one of the alleged victims.
We're also getting some information from the organised crime unit about the assets that have been seized, properties, cars, luxury.
Did you hear all that? You want to hear that one more time? What the charges were?
Ladies and gentlemen,
now
Andrew Tate has been charged with rape and human trafficking.
Prosecutors in Romania have filed
There's also
formal
some
charges against the controversial
extended
influencer
charges
Andrew
as well about
Tate, his
organized
brother
crime.
Tristan, and 2 Romanian associates. The charges include rape, human trafficking, and forming an organised crime group, as well as illegally accessing a computer system and violence against one of the alleged victims.
We're also getting some information from the organised crime unit about the assets that have been seized, properties, cars, luxury watches, but also more than $300 million in cryptocurrency. And we're told that there's...
Whoa, they are actually bossed
Okay, so
up.
why am I going to share this obnoxious rich dude who claims he's a socialist hanging out with all his exceptionalist friends? I'm not a big fan of this guy. I'm not a big fan of any of these folks. I can back him on the fact that he came to Trihex's support, but he really did it for like a clout thing. Fine. It turns out, I don't know. He's a smart kid, smart guy. He's a smart dude, but he's also the most just insufferably self-absorbed solipsistic. He's like if you were to boil down this generation's ego into one human with a better attitude than Stephen Bennell, it'd be that guy right here. Hassan Abi. Nephew, very wealthy nephew of the man who runs the Young Turks. So, 300 milliseconds in BC. Oh, not surprised. Not surprised. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that is a long delay, by the way. That's a very long delay. That's like me going like, one. It's tough. All right. So, why am I sharing Hassan and his smugginess? And I don't even, you know, I've tried to pin down exactly what I don't like about him, and I think it's just smug and rich, and he flaunts it for an audience of people that are like, yeah, rich man, deep rich, I'm the rich. It's just another side of the coin of the destiny, like nothing matters but being online and being as cool as this guy and all that, watch out the news and understand a portion of it, but be really like sure of yourself and then treat everybody like you're still in high school, even though you're probably closer to 32. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't. I have a lot of dislike. I have a lot of dislike of the fart sniffing. Hold on. You know what? Hold on a second. You know what it is? You know what it is? You know what it is? Why? It's always when I want the sound. There we go. It's that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I'm so important because my show makes me millions of dollars for being a rich person. Access is cred. Yeah, actually, why did he have so much Bitcoin? Why would anyone do that, by the way? I'd be exchanging that shit off to real money real fucking quick. Because, you know, as soon as it comes up to that high point, I'm like, yes! Sell. I played with it a bit. I have some Bitcoin stories. I have, yeah, I'm going to keep that to myself for a minute. I've already explained it in another period about my involvement with those weird things and my associations. Pepe Lapio. That's where all the girls' money was going. Yep. Straight to the crypto. Crypto bra. Josephine Baker.
Crazy. $300 million is a lot of cookies, man.
And we're told that there are separate charges that are still under investigation that may be the subject of a separate indictment in the future.
It's unfortunately not correct. It's fortunately. No, I'm sorry. Andy Tate. Andy Tate.
Trafficking of minors?
I'm not.
That's not true. DICOT did an investigation. He's only worth $10 million total. Oh, according to DICOT, they seized assets including over 21 Bitcoin, which is $560,000 as of June 20th. That's not true. Some auto-translate software, including Google Translate, erroneously suggested a much larger amount of Bitcoin worth $384 million had been seized due to an error interpreting the original Romanian. Oh my god, he was a fucking broke boy too? Dude!
I believe the term is a broke boy.
Yeah. And by the way, yeah, let me just second you there, Poo-Poo Sauce. And I'm going to hold him there in the bad Coomer face. I'm going to use that term Coomer for this. Oh, yeah, it's such a nefarious, I mean, it's a scam, and where did it all go? I gather, actually, that from the information that I have, he owed a lot of money to a lot of bad people, and I would gather he was constantly paying off debt, and that a good portion of his ability to keep doing business was paying somebody else. That's how that works. If you're doing business in somebody else's territory, you're going to be paying a lot of money, or they're going to just come and shut you down. And how they shut you down in Romania would probably be to shut you down, like shut you get shut into a dark place, corner, box. They off you. They just put you in it. My friend, would you like to go to a lovely place? It's in the forest, 4 hours away. You and I, just me and you. We get to know one another closely. No, we go hunting maybe. I don't know. I bring one gun. You know, that's how that works out for the most part. Yeah, and crypto, you know, that's a dangerous game. You got to be like one of the penny stock traders, but in crypto, like a crypto bro, Josephine Baker. There are some decent things. You can do, and by the way, crypto will be the future, is the future, but it's currently, it's basically it's still the Wild West. So it's all good. So Sorry, have I held him in the Coomer face long enough? Hold on. I've got a sound for this. Yeah. Alright. I think I've he's suffered enough at the hands of my sounds. Yes, Sam Bankman of the FTX Ponzi scheme, cryptocurrency bears. These things are real. When your parents have a lot of money, then you're like, let's just go have an island where we can polyamorously all fuck each other and watch streams and have our own streams for each other. I have a living maid. I'm sorry. We got to take him a little bit seriously about the information, but I just can't help myself. But I like to make fun of ridiculously wealthy people because nobody does it, and somebody should to their face, because really, truly, most of the time they're super insecure. They just want to be liked, so they have their closest friends around them at all times. They basically pay for friends most of the time. The very few that I know that are like really earnest, they don't give a fuck. They don't wear shoes, they don't own cars, they don't wear nice clothes, it's hard to understand that they're rich half the time. Okay, let me share he's passed, so I can share this story. James Rado, one of the two men who wrote the play Hair, and specifically the lyrics that you know from "This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius." That's very hard to sing in a different key. And many others that like you hear constantly. Good morning, starshine, in commercials and stuff like that, and been used by United Airlines. And that man, I believe he was worth near to $100 million. Plus the play had been done and translated into like 180 languages or something crazy, and been running since 1968 off Broadway and on Broadway, and so I got to know a bunch of those cats. And one day, James Rado, and this is not the only story for this, but it's the best example of how real wealthy people, motherfuckers who got there, who didn't expect to get there, are generally the coolest motherfuckers, and they aren't like, Cooming! Salute, Jem Vital! Wow, so long! It's been so long. Good to see you again, Jem Vital. Salute and welcome. We're looking at Coomer Face right now. If you don't know what Coomer Face is, it's a rich dude. He's going to give us some good information, but first I'm just going to rake him over the coals in a personal manner, so we could just degrade him just a little bit, because he's worth like $100 million or something crazy. I don't know. It's his parents' money anyways, but it's also his now. Streamer. I'm a streamer, so I'm important because I'm also rich. Look at me, I'm Batman. I'm so bored. Anyhow, okay, I think I've done enough. I didn't finish the story either, but it's yeah. So we're doing the play. You have been, Jem, and we've missed you. We've missed you quite a lot. Everywhere. We've missed you everywhere. You've been hiding. MIA. Anyway, so we're doing the play. It's in Hollywood, Cahuenga Boulevard. We're having a great run. James decides to go across the street to the art gallery. I think it might not be there anymore. I think it's a little theater right where it is. Backside where SIR basically is. And the whole block has changed. Where that theater was doesn't exist anymore. It's an amazing time period. And in any case, so James Rado goes across the street into the art installation spot, and he's thinking about buying some art, which the man can buy whatever he can buy the whole store. And he's a very unassuming person. And let me just give you a little background on James. James was a real hippie. James is the character, and I can give away his secrets now. He's passed. Rest in peace, James, earlier last year. James is the character of not Wolf, but oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on the character that he is. He's one of the two main characters in the play. He wrote it based off of himself, and he actually didn't do drugs, didn't smoke weed. He was just a weirdo, an awesome weirdo, awesome creative weirdo. Kids are wealthy, going wild out here, and the kids who don't, work for it, super entitled. Yes, indeed, entitlement is amazing. And when you see someone who has so much, who is so not entitled, they don't even know what's going on. It's super telling. And device went down, battery power. All right. Hey. Oh, that helps to press the right button. That's correct. Anyhow, so goes in. James had this way of combing his hair because he didn't care. Just this over this way, and some over that way, and just would miss the back. And so it looked like he'd been sleeping on his hair. And yes, Alba Bankman-Fried's girl was the daughter of an FCC policing of Markets, and they can't arrest her. Caroline, well, there's some issues with that and how they protected her that are real fucked up. But that is definitely a whole thing that should be looked at. And I definitely should do a Bankman-Fried episode, shouldn't I? Money laundering through YouTube channels is a real thing through super chats. Now, Poopa Sauce, I could definitely see that. That would be a very easy way to return crypto scamming straight back into a channel and have somebody take a percentage of it. So it yeah, I could see that being a workaround. That might be a thing. I'll look into that. That's something interesting. Thank you. That should have been kind of an obvious one. I'm surprised nobody's really looked at that, but probably the reason we don't see anything about that because that shit gets suppressed. Yeah. So, anyhow, James goes into the art installation, gets a minute in there, and we had been down at the coffee shop this was a break we were taking during rehearsals, and we'd seen James go into the shop, and we were like, oh, I wonder where James is going to go get. So we go over and follow him in, and we walk into the host basically saying, I'm sorry, sir, you've got to leave. We don't let homeless people just no. And we actually had to interject for this person, despite the fact that I was a brokey, the person next to me was brokey, and here's a man worth $100 million in 1990 something or other, getting thrown out because of the way he looked, which is my point. People are people no matter who they are. It's your character. It's your behavior. And now James was suspect because of what he looked like. And that's when people judge based off view and expectation and projection. And it's important to not take part in that bullshit, frankly. Because then you end up believing in some bullshit that isn't true. It isn't real about you and other people. And frankly, being you is the greatest thing you could be.
Oh shit, you're drinking that government water, Andrew. You're not fucking drinking sparkling water.
Sorry.
You're drinking government water. His house is only worth $600K in Romania. All his cars are rented, and he only has $300K in crypto. I'm tweeting about this. I'm sorry.
And by the way, where else would I get this information from but an entitled,
I told you motherfuckers that half the dudes whose
kid of rich
streams
people
he was going on have more money than he does. It was all a fucking flex, dude.
It's a
More
scam.
like broke G. Fucking broke G. Oh, that's fucking fire, dude. I'm sorry. This is like the justice being served part is great, but it's like doubly great when you fucking see this kind of situation unfold. And all of these dumb motherfuckers who love him, dude, all of these dumbasses who love him have been fucking absolutely duped. Wait, where does it say his cars were a rental? They own the cars, that's what makes up most of the 10 mil? Wait, so his total net worth is like around 10 mil. You know he has a shit ton of money, just not on the books though. You know, it famously, when a incredibly fucking comprehensive investigation is conducted, they have a really hard time finding all of your assets. Like, these guys weren't exactly a fucking brilliant operation. If anything, part of the reason why they are in such trouble at the moment is precisely because they were not running a brilliant operation.
Yes.
They were very stupid. They
Yes.
very openly talked about doing lover boy method sex trafficking. They very openly talked about the
They
abuse
left it
of
out on the net.
women. They
They were
openly talked
brazen.
about tax evasion, how to control
Entitled.
and manipulate women. You can say you're coping all you want, but turns out,
Goofy.
you know who the real top G is? People like myself, people like XQC.
Okay,
Turns out,
hold on.
his entire net worth is around.
No. Andrew Tate, what color is your Bugatti? It's a rental. Yes, that's the color. It's the color of rental. Oh, man. And, you know, I understand this stuff. If you've ever worked around the supremely wealthy, they don't even buy their own cars most of the time. They're on lease or they're part of a... Those who do buy their cars, those who get the Bugattis and stuff, they're on a very slim, tiny list. You have to spend so much money. You don't just get to buy the car, by the way. There's a whole package of things you have to buy with it. It's insane. Self-snitching on the net. Yep. They literally made a playbook off the street game. Then they tried to make it white collar. Oh, and Jem, you missed earlier where I was playing some video, but I do have a second video ready to go. Just ready to go. Even though my device did die, I'm going to play for you the second video, because you know I always have a backup to the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. Sorry. About the comparative to pimping, yes. Oh, really? It's just gonna be like that now? Oh, it's totally gonna be like that now. By the way, I just want to point out before we keep going, the most uptight, I don't know where in the country this is, but these people are stiff. They're stiff. You decide. You decide for yourself. Anyways, yes.
It's a sad reality. Our state is one of the top 3 states in the entire nation for human trafficking.
This man hasn't pooped in 8 years.
But unfortunately, it is a reality so many live.
Now, last month we brought you the Selling Girls series where we looked into the epidemic of child trafficking. Tonight, we hear from someone on the other side. A former pimp explains how quickly a conversation can change your life.
Huh. Conversation? Change your life?
Man, they need to clean this place up.
In the heart of these South Seattle streets.
Like my brother to this day.
It's Seattle.
Who will tell you
okay, that's why.
He used to run them.
Oh, you a pimp, huh? Yeah. I know how to deal with ladies. Yeah.
It gave you power.
I already have power, but yeah, it gave you some kind of, satisfaction, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I can have a woman do whatever I want when I want.
Galen Harper will also tell
you. Hearing anything familiar?
He left those 10+ years of pimping behind.
Not her.
I think about
ignore her Sinclair broadcasting accent.
These kids.
No. Talking about what he's talking about.
The way people are living. See, because I can help stop a lot of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of things.
He knows how pimps are working, women.
Sorry. He knows how pimps are working, women. Sorry.
Right outside his doorstep.
But I know how to roll with pimps. I know how to roll, you know what I'm saying? I know how to roll with the players, the hustlers, the dope dealers.
Yes, indeed, Lita.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't engage in it.
And he knows from
it's Alba. I'm
experience
sorry.
how
I can't read.
some Seattle pimps keep
it's right in front of me. I should just look forward and I can read it.
She used to always, I had to damn near choke the shit out of her just to get her to want to go out. But she wanted to go out, but she liked it that, you know what I'm saying?
That's how 39-year-old Harper disciplined.
We've heard this before as well.
Women.
This is a mirror. There's not too much that's different between
it's how he made sure
the character of this person living in his motorhome.
Pow, shut up.
That's not how the women's story started, though.
How would I break a woman? I would get you to trust me.
Huh.
When I get you to trust me, then I come on in.
Long before Harper would put his hands on a woman.
Where you get your hair done at?
He would charm her.
You look sexy with them glasses on.
With his
Pimpin'
words.
ain't easy, Jem Patel says. But some piece of shit has to do it.
Say you a dream.
Apparently so, and that's pretty much who it's limited to for the most part. There are a very few exceptions within a society that has it illegal. So unless it's a legal brothel or some situation like in Amsterdam where the pimps are managers and managing business and health cards and such.
Charisma about them.
Yeah, they're talking about a coercion business, a business of trafficking.
And they honestly believe that they can manipulate
humans, trafficking humans.
Harper didn't waste his time trying to manipulate confident women.
So I looked how she's walking.
He looked for the vulnerable ones.
That's how you know woman.
The women who were missing something. Love, family, or something else he promised he could provide.
Now she can get relaxed and talk about her feelings. That's what she wants. And if you give her a shoulder to lean on, she's gonna give you a heart.
That bond between a victim
Hear what he said there?
and her pimp
If you give her a shoulder to lean on, that's when she's going to give you her heart. Huh.
makes this undercover detective's job much harder.
Because they don't see themselves as victims.
Detective Maurice Washington has worked hundreds of local and national trafficking cases.
This is actually one of the areas that...
He says many pimps recruit online, and they practice in populated places.
So just the
Yep.
thing of being, let's say, at a
Isn't
bus
that amazing?
stop,
Anybody else seeing the mirroring? Anybody else seeing or hearing anything similar? Is this just me? Hold on. Is this just me? No, it's not fucking just me. This is evil shit. Coercion and trafficking of human bodies for the purpose of making an extra fucking dollar off of their back. That's evil. Okay? It's despicable. It's not what you do. It's not how you meet people. It's not how you gain trust. It's not how you fucking treat others. Okay? Alright. No job! Oh, much better. I'm now little me. Little me! Alright. Mr. Coomer up here. That's what you get for having all that money, dude. Yeah, no, there is a distinct dislike. But you know, while we're at it, I want to understand. Oh my God!
I wanted to know why men were so angry about women. Why are there all these complaints about women? And when I started researching the stuff, it was pretty easy to figure out why. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD. The average body count is over 5.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Your average wife has slept with over 5 people. 95%.
I'm sorry, let me address 95, and the second, I'm sorry, you don't know what that is. That is actually an inside joke from a video about a month and a half ago where the dude just like he broke. The dude broke and he just repeated I swear to God, he broke. That dude broke. Anyways. So a few months back, Lita says, a pimp called into Kendrick G's show while he was in the car waiting. Abba says, yes, pure evil. And Jem Vitale says that she lived in Vegas. She knows the clear difference between voluntary sex work and coercion, and it's clear it is very clear. And it's not just that, it's, I really believe that it should be legalized so that it isn't a criminal activity and that we can take crime out of it. We can take all of these terrible things. And yes, by the way, I apologize that I didn't warn you that there was going to be NBC malfunction. 100% true. And the second, it's a Twitch thing, actually. I think I have a clip of it somewhere, or it's at the end of the video where I'm on Prime K's panel. It's insane. It's super insane. He literally, his computer breaks and it's amazing. Yeah, I apologize. I should warn you when there's going to be a Squatch sighting. So you can do 2 things. You can bring a washcloth for the single bar of everybody uses the same bar of soap, and still smoking off that pack. Anyways, I shared this because I'm showing the effects of what it allows really kind of goofy people to think that they can get away with. It's not directly associated, but it is associated in that in the culture of the red pill, manosphere, big towel, give some advice that you don't have a background to give. you know, stuff where you're just chilling. Con man shit, essentially. You know, I think we've kind of found that this person in particular has a very fragrant, what's the word I was looking for? No, that's not the sound. No, that's not it either. I'll go with that though, but that's the sound. I hope that we're all 8 in our minds. Ah, that's the smell squatch. That is definitely squatch. Yeah, and I'm down where you can tell. Poo-poo sauce. Yeah, no, that's not even fair. We have respect for poo-poo sauce here. This is a musk of it's like leather and oh, there's definitely something wrong. There's something wrong. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Sweat. There's said she's attractive, and so maybe she looks better in person. Well, Destiny, I think, would be attracted to things most of us wouldn't be attracted to, be frank with you. I'm just gonna say that guy's scale of what is cool and what is not, you know, tends to skew towards the strippery and the odd, and I think he just probably wanted to. He's just one of those dudes who counts. He counts, you know, he's got a little, like, secret diary, I betcha. Oh, I'm sorry, where is the... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You have to, I don't want her to show up. I don't know if I'm making mating calls or something scary. She probably could have been cute. You know, pre-racism. And by the way, since we're here, I was gonna save this. Folks, I was gonna save this. But I want you to know that I didn't give up. I really didn't give up. And something special popped up today. And, I'm actually kind of excited. This has nothing to do with the show. I'm sorry I'm putting my head down, but I really have to search it out because I buried it in amongst all the rest of the other stuff today. Oh, you know, I just might as well look up. I'm sorry, oh, it's your girl. So if you were wondering, oh no. Girl. No, that's not. Oh my god. I can't believe I've just lost it completely where she is. Oh my god, that is terrible. So by the way, I have identified that Jess is okay. And it looks like we're going to start to hear stories. She looks and sounds like a fool. Yes, indeed. And actually, I'm going to move back to this. I apologize. I can't believe that I don't have this like ready to go. It's because, oh my gosh, where is it in my library now? This is gonna kill me. It's gonna kill me that I don't have this like on tap for you folks, because of the fact that I was gonna share this at the end of the show as a surprise, even though it has nothing to do with the story itself. I found it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know she's okay.
Testing.
From 7 days ago.
Testing. I guess you wonder where I've been. I can't.
Did she actually have the fire alarm going on in the background? What the hell?
Got things for you, and I can't let go.
Her her channel, by the way, is called. I'm sorry. Let me just make sure I'm saying this correctly because I can't see all of it on the screen. Your girl Jess Lee.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, what's up? Hi, I'm your girl Jess, or your girl Jess Lee.
Anyways, just so you know, we don't have to hashtag where's Jess anymore. She's actually still in the UK, by the way. So you all know, and I'm sure that she's going to be telling us lots coming up here soon. So I'm kind of excited. I also reached out to her as I do, in the chat and said, hey, would you do an interview? And hopefully, maybe I'll hear from her. That would be really cool because I think that we should all hear all of the story from her side that we hadn't heard before, and I want to find out why. I think she's ready to tell us. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But let's get back to it because we were going to hear from
5% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand. Now I understand, okay, the quality of women. But I kept thinking, why? So this is the average American chick. Why is it like this? And my second question was, why are men complaining about marriage?
Yeah, Sasquatch community didn't mean to insult the whole surviving plantation things.
They're saying don't ever get married. And I'm thinking, why? So then my
we have
next
been
question
waiting,
was,
Jim Vitale
why
says.
don't men want to get married? What I found out is that the courts, the legal system, all of society is catering towards women. Okay?
It's catering towards stick figures.
Is basically pandering and simping for women. For example, in the UK, if you accuse your
righteous
guy
Emily, good deal.
I'm
glad you went to her page.
Another example is free government handouts for women and single mothers. So we essentially have a system that is paying women to be single mothers. So when I would look at why are women so bad, it's like
I'm not paying any attention to her. I'm reading. It says, Alba, the Sasquatch community wants to trade pearly things to the orangutan community for Anton. Wow. Wow. Jim Vitale with the body slam. Yeah, that's pretty good, Jim. That's tough. You went tough. You went hard. That was tough. Jim Vitale went tough. That was tough. Anyhow. What is she talking about even?
If you pay women to be terrible,
then
you're probably going to have more terrible women.
Don't forget to hit that button.
Common sense. If you
If
get
you haven't
paid to
already.
be a single mother, why wouldn't
And if
you
you
break
can,
up your
give me a big
family?
old thumb.
Well, I mean, morals.
Like,
That's a whole nother.
if you got the moment to just hit that button repeatedly.
So what I figured out when I started
What did you
talking
figure
to
out
some of
drawing?
these
When I started
politicians,
drawing the
we're
stick
gonna
figures,
use the guy
I'm just going to talk over it.
politician.
I don't really
He's
care.
got a bow tie. Yeah, that's a bow tie.
The guy, the
Now,
guy with the bow
issue
tie
that the
is what is.
politicians,
That's the patriarchy.
The only way they can
And
get
then
elected.
The only way the patriarchy can be elected by the stick figures is because we don't see changes in laws.
Where men can't get
Which
access
laws?
to
Whose
their
laws? Is
children,
it the
where
U.S.
single
laws?
mothers are being paid to be single mothers.
Oh
All
yeah,
of these
no.
horrible
It's fine.
policies
Please keep
the
roasting.
politicians can't
You can
change
cook.
them because
Feel
they
free to
won't
cook.
be reelected. And
They
then
want to be
I started
reelected by the
researching
stick
it
figures
further.
because
And I started to
she
think, does every
understands what stick
person
figures
deserve
want.
the right to
That's
vote?
what's important.
Should every person deserve the right to vote? And what I found out is that men are fined $300,000 if they don't enroll in selective service, where women
it would make
have no
sense that
skin
she
in the
would
game.
be.
And in the U.S., anyways, we're voting
because
for
she doesn't believe in
commander-in-chief.
birth
So is it really fair
control.
that if I vote for a president because
Or,
of my feelings, he's so mean, I'm not
non-birthing.
going to name
She is not just a
and
pro-lifer,
instead I
she's
vote
just
for
a
somebody that's
pro-birther.
basically senile, and we go to war. Is it
The
fair
president's
that the
basically
men have to
senile.
pay for
So
that
I don't know
bad
if you know,
decision?
but all of this is
Because
nonsense. And
essentially-
the reason why I played a little bit of that is, and we can totally ignore most of it and all of it, except for the fact that it exists. Yeah, it's no, that's her natural pooch, her poof, or fupa. Fupa. I mean, if she can't eat out of the bowl that she serves from, what's important about this? What's important is that these people feel free to do what they're doing because it's nothing. It is absolutely fucking nothing when you compare it to the misogyny.
I'll answer it succinctly. Here's the thing. That sounds good on
these
paper, and
fucking
that sounds
retards.
fantastic.
I'm sorry.
Independent, get your own money,
Andy
be a strong,
Tate.
independent woman,
Tate.
whatever.
Sorry.
But you
Tate.
hate women that do that, don't
Andy
you?
Tate.
Finish my point, please.
Yeah, sure.
My
Enlighten me.
apology. Yeah, all
fine,
of
I'm speaking
them
with her.
are pro-birthers.
Like, that's great.
Yes.
You can get your own money and everything, but the thing is that as you earn more money as a
Pro-rights?
woman, your potential mates go down with it. As a
I'm
woman
sorry.
makes more money,
Sorry,
doors close.
pro-rights,
As a man makes more
pro-body autonomy, pro-equality, pro-understanding or intellectualism, no, none of those things. But they're pro-birth. Bring babies into the world. Don't give a solution. No. Just, endure. That's what this is about. Hang out with a throat goat, the jizzler. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're selling it against the person who is the jizzler, the throat goat, apparently, based off of what she says in her ads, and the space between the fake boobs, I mean, that says it all. Those are well teardrops. She paid a lot of money. I'm sorry, let me correct that. Some dude paid a lot of money for those, and By the way, little pro tip, men, boys, young men, 18 and above, legal. Women with fakies, they're proud of them. They tend to like to share. Just a pro tip, just saying, rock and roll stuff here. Just saying, I'm not saying they all do, just saying, consent is important, and if you want to just see some pretty things, because men, we do like them. They are lovely. But then humans are lovely, so anyhow, we already had sexy time on Sunday, so Provo, welcome. So glad you could be here. You just missed me making whale noises. I had to stop because I was gonna pull one into the yes, exactly. Thank you. I appreciate you being here for that too, by the way. Provo's an esteemed colleague and guest, and his streams, if you're not familiar with Provo's streams, and welcome back, by the way. That fucking ban was bullshit. I don't know what the fuck yeah. I'm trying to address some of those things too in writing separately, but you know how that shit works. They're like, sure. I was making whale noises. I had to stop because I wasn't sure I was going to bring one ashore, but that was because we were covering pearly things, and I think that people should be able to serve or eat out of the bowl that they serve from. So, I think it's fair. And youngest of four boys, I like to poke the bear. You know I do. Yeah.
Money, doors open.
It depends if you find a partner that you're going to build with, because if the money
let me just be honest about this. Like that whole build together and etc. Women don't build, man. They move in. We could sit here and say this.
Sure. Oh yeah, women don't build men. Humans don't build humans, except for the fact that cooperation is everything. And what they're thinking about when they're thinking about this relationship is more along the lines of, I'm thinking...
Whatever it is, I've got just the cure for it. There's a sensational sale going on at Watson's. A new hat would be the ideal tonic for you.
That shit. They're thinking, something like...
But sure, we're not doing a thing this evening. Kathy could easily do without the Kierans tonight. But Frank knows he may need Jim's vote when the council meets next week on that zoning proposition. So in they come. Well, that's the end of Mozart for tonight. It's tough, but Frank usually knows what he's doing. And so the Hartfords entertain the Kierans. It isn't exactly what either family planned or exactly what the ladies wanted.
But they don't give a fuck because the men, they've got a drink. Come on. Look, this is what these folks are really thinking. It's that. And
most of the people who approach me, like in the pimp game, they're not asking how to be pimps. They mostly come to me about how to approach women using body language. So I said, you have to understand, a lot of married guys can't wake their wives up to get them a tuna fish sandwich. What do you think I say to a woman in 30 seconds to make her want to sell her body on the corner for me for 12 hours? I said, it's certain power in language and this you use. But when I teach guys this, I don't teach them so that they can go out and do that. I teach them so that they can be the guy at the bar. I said, I'm 5'7" and I don't think I'm the most handsomest man in the world. Watch me leave with all the women in this party and it won't take me 5 minutes. I said, see that girl over there? Because most of my women are 6 feet and over because I have this obsession with tall women. I said, you can get her. I said, watch this. And I just come lean in her ear and all of a sudden she grabs her purse and I said, it's that easy. I said, you just don't know what to say, when to say, how to say it. You haven't been watching her body language. You haven't been watching her movements. You didn't watch how many times her eyes dipped down and came back up. You know, things like that. I said, you don't know what to say. And that's what I was, you know, that's what I usually instruct guys to. When they say, you're teaching people how to pimp, I said, no, I'm not. I'm teaching them how to have one brain submit to the will of theirs. Now, that could be on
one will to submit to theirs. Okay, so how does that play into this?
You haven't fucked.
Oh, we've
So
seen
the
this, but
process is
I like to bring it
the same
back
as
to
the
remind
PhD
us what we're really watching.
Message them on Instagram.
What we're really talking
The
about.
PhD
What-
course is my recruitment system.
Why would I be?
I don't mention webcam until after.
Why would I
I've
be
had sex with the
concerned?
girl.
Why would I bring this up?
If
Why
you're
would
on
I
dates and you're trying to
share
mention
this?
it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that.
Right off the bat, he tells you that his main goal is to have them work for him and him get all the money.
Webcam studios everywhere. There's one webcam studio down the road called Studio 20 with 100 rooms. 100 rooms, 8-hour shifts, 3 girls a day. That's 300 girls a day working, and they all work on LiveGasm. So if you're going to go on LiveGasm, you're going to be competing with big time guys. And what you want to be competing with is people at home in their bedrooms. You don't want to be competing with serious businessmen, because I know for a fact, Studio 20, the owner of Studio 20 and the owner of the website itself, LiveGasm, are friends, and they've got some kind of backhander agreement. So all the Studio 20 girls appear high on the webpage. They appear at the top of the page. Obviously, if you're going to go on there, you don't want to scroll down to 10 pages to find a girl. You're going to go to the girls in the first row. All his girls appear high up because he's giving the guy a backhand. It's all this shady business. It's a huge competition market.
So you can see his main thrust is just making money. And he doesn't give a shit how he does it, really. He's going to tell you in a second here the origin of the story. And he's repeated these same concepts through multiple interviews, right? And so when you say I'm taking things out of context, we've sourced this and sourced this and sourced this, and he's repeated it multiple times. It is something when you hear who he wants to compete. He doesn't want to compete with the main factories. He wants to compete with the girls that are at home. So it that gives you an indication that he's going. You know, it's like in nature, I suppose. You go after the weakest.
Now, I've told very shortly my story, how I kind of started my whole webcam business. I'll tell it again in detail here. I was fighting, I had some money, I had 70,000 pounds in a safe.
Why is this important? Because we're talking about somebody who's admitting the fact that
most
they've
of his money from
gained
he had 70 grand
off of others,
70,000 euros, or
essentially
pounds,
by
or whatever he had, and that was
any
it.
means necessary.
Bedroom in my house,
and
I wanted
after
to
that,
buy property in Thailand.
there were no
Thailand.
rules.
I needed 80,000. I was 10 grand short, and I thought I'd go to the casino and make the 10.
That's also telling. I'm going to go to the casino and try to make money.
Emily, now you got to get yourself kicked out.
Guys, stay away from the casino. There's a reason that they're so big.
Which was obviously, we all know that story. Right?
My goals
So I
are
lost 30,
achieved.
So now I need 40. I needed it quickly. So I was
I bet
sitting
you
there
did. You're about
trying
to have your
find a
ass
way to
whooped,
make
huh?
money. So how can I make money? And what I did was, I said to Tristan, I'm literally not leaving my room until I have a way for us to make more money. Because I can only fight so many times per year, and I know their income. So I got a pen and paper, and I was on YouTube, like researching, you know, how people make money, what millionaires have, and they kept talking about assets. And I was sitting there thinking, what assets?
You know, things you own.
You know, I'm trying to buy a property. I mean, I didn't own a property in the UK at the time.
Now, think about the word asset. What is an asset?
Did you
Well,
just
I suppose
delete
it's
your
an
own
asset.
message?
It's not worth much,
You
but
just
it's
modded yourself.
It's really the brand.
That's hilarious,
is worth a lot more than the hat is. But what is an asset? The office, the building, you know, your brand. Those are assets.
Yeah, thank you.
Things that you own are assets.
Times I didn't pay any tax to anyone. I didn't want to pay taxes, so I didn't buy a house to the firm. So I was like, what?
And keep in mind, keep that tax theme in the back of your head.
Yeah. By the way, he's an attorney, if you didn't know. That's why he has a stop self-snitching
and
the gun on his desk.
All smoking.
That's how you know.
And females are an asset.
By the way, if you walk into your attorney's office and he's got a gun on the
Attractive
desk,
females are
he doesn't
absolutely an
trust
asset.
you.
And if you
Let's
disagree
just say
with me, walk in the club with 10 blondes and you'll see who the most important guy in the club is. Fuck the champagne shows.
Who the fuck cares who the most important guy in the club is?
Thank you.
The most insecure guy in the club. It's important to that guy.
Yes,
but
exactly.
It should never be important to you to be the most important guy in the club. What should be important to
Yeah,
you
they're very
is
informative. He's been
people
very
around
good
you
on this topic.
Having their respect, but having their respect because, not because you're walking in there with 12 wands.
I've walked into a club with 10 girls, and there's guys next to me doing champagne shows. Is anyone looking at their table or my table? No one gives a fuck about their table. Pussy is the most important driving force of this planet. Pussy is the only reason
change that one's name to the
empires
real
were started
Emily.
and wars were waged. It's the only reason all you guys are out there are even interested in having money. If there was no pussy about, you wouldn't care about having money. You say, oh, I'll have a little bit of money and I'll just play chess all day. I don't care, I'll play video games. The only reason we want cars and clothes and six packs and houses and shit is for girls.
Yeah, so simplistic.
Yeah, it's no. Dudes like that. Maybe that's how they validate their life. Maybe that's how they validate themselves or their masculinity. But let's be frank. If you're masculine, if you're a man, or you're who you say you are, you don't need to go beyond a simple explanation. You don't need to keep pounding on your chest. I'm a man! Yeah, it seems kind of counter to the points. And hello and welcome to the current viewers. That's a view with an airs. Y'all got some airs on, because people don't do shit to feel better. I'm sorry. Let me catch that back up. It's Jem Vital says, because people don't do shit to feel better about their own selves. He is projecting. Yes. When you feel insecure, projection tells people you're just as insecure as they think you are. Yeah. And that misread of a certain generation of, like, as soon as you respond to something to be upset, they think it's a win. They've like taken that strange projection and put it into that. So it's easy to sell that projection to people as if it's not what it is. By the way, that whole backwards contradictory logic playing itself into social behaviors. Stepford Wives, a horror story. Women who could think they have ideas, but be engineers and be CEOs and contribute in society and be brave fighters in military. Why would we want that? This is madness. Wanting Stepford. Yeah, exactly. Emily the Real. Yes, exactly. Welcome. The real Emily of the Real. Yeah, they want something they can control. Which is, by the way, the title.
Girls are the driving force. So when I realized I had all these assets, I had to find a way to monetize the assets.
Now remember, the assets, were something you own. He's got 5 women that
he believes he owns the women.
Believes are his assets.
Yes.
Now he's going to make money off them.
I knew some street pimps. I've known them for a long time. Street pimping is completely... In fact, no, it's not a completely different game. The psychological aspect is the same.
So, now I'm not taking things out of context. He's saying the psychological aspect of what he's going to be doing is the exact same psychological aspect of street pimp, and that is control.
Yep. What we're going to do. The skill I'm going to teach you is exactly the same. Sorry. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm going to teach you. I didn't want no one else fucking my girl. That's the truth. My girls. I want to fuck my girls. I want some other guy fucking my girls. What the fuck's the point in that? So, long story short, blah, 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 discovered webcam, and went from there. Flew all 5 girls in at once, sat them all down.
I know what's going on. I can't hear myself. That's why I'm like, why am I playing in the wrong key?
2 decided to stay, 3 started crying, got back on the plane, because they were all different places in the world. I had them for when I was fighting, so I went and fought in Slovakia, got a girlfriend, went and fought in France, got a girlfriend, went and fought, so I had all the girls around the world. So I told them all to fly in, sat them all down together, like, who the fuck are all these other girls? So I was like, okay, truth time, bang.
All these other girls probably think they're exclusive before they come to him, right? And now, all of a sudden, he lays the truth down on them. What is, that's deception from the very beginning. His words, not mine.
I'm a G, I'm fucking you all.
I'm a G.
I'm gonna start a business, you're all gonna live here again. 3 got back on the plane, 2 decided to stay. 2 weeks later, 1 left, so I was left with 1. But starting with 1 is good, but first 2 weeks I fucked them together a few times.
The G, as he calls himself, Started with 5, now he's down to 1. How much respect would you have for the one girl that's still standing there? With 4 girls, thank God that they had the sense. But really, who is the bigger man? Is the bigger man that's the fucking poser who walks into a club with 12 girls? Or is the bigger man who is the honorable guy, who stands by his family, raises a family, has a decent job, goes to work every day, is solid? I'd rather go to a pub than a club any day. When you are that guy, not the G, but when you are a solid guy where you're there for your family, you're not trying to manipulate anybody, and you're a provider for your family, and you are a solid straight guy, that's the G. That's the person who's
Is
the
that
real man.
Your goal
is that the G?
To
Oh, he's just
inspire a
describing
girl to make money and give you the money.
Your goal is to rip her off. That's really what he's telling you. Those are his words.
That's basically
I'm not
what he's
taking
saying.
anything out of context. We're not chopping this up. This is his little seminar that he was pitching to all these guys out there who think he's got something to offer.
So the way you're going to do that is you have to have some element of influence, and you're going to have that element of influence through her respecting you, looking up to you, and her believing she needs you.
Believing she needs you. So the trust game.
You know, the old pimps, what they would do is they'd find some young girl at the bus
You would do
station.
that on your home about page, actually, Jem. And you could do that untold numbers of times, by the
They
way.
think they're the best, and you know, and these are chicks that don't have any self-esteem whatsoever. And then they start working for them, and then but it's a slow process.
Your screen name,
It's
by
a
the way,
slow
your screen name.
process of mind control.
You can also,
and
I
physical
believe, do it on the page, right?
Control with
I've never done
money,
it, so
control with
obviously
emotions and actual physical control.
And this is extremely important because at the beginning she will need you, but then she won't need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive.
He's literally
Fallacy.
admitting.
That's his word. His word. Not taking this out of context. So she'll need you at first, but then she won't.
Yep.
You have to keep her convinced that she does need you. That's how you control. That's the control.
That's
part.
amazing. I love
And
that.
It is a fallacy. What
Jim
is fallacy?
Savage.
Fraud.
She can't do this without
A little
it, to
Umar
ensure that
thing
she
over it.
doesn't do it without it. So this is what screen share is all about. Effectively, this is the way the business works. The girl sits on the camera. Now, when the girl is on camera, and you would have seen from my promotional video, that was at the height of my webcam empire. The blonde in that video, I'm still with now. You'll see from there
Yeah,
how
that's
we
his
explain
girlfriend, by the
that
way.
it's people typing
His long-term,
pretending to be the
6-year
girl
girlfriend.
24 hours a day. So it hasn't got to be 24.
That part, I suppose, is fine in terms of a business model, but it's fraud. I mean, he's the one typing. And
So I'm going to play this again, by the way, and what was...
Am I a bad person? Because the
was being
more
suggested
you
is
didn't
AI.
like it, the more I enjoyed it. I
This
fucking
is
loved how
actually
much you hated it.
been confirmed by a number of news sources,
Why am
and
I
this
like
is
that?
from the investigation.
Why? I am one of the most dangerous men on this planet. Sometimes
It's
you
a voice
forget
message.
exactly how lucky you were to get fucked by me. Would you rather me pin you down and make you do things you didn't like, or would you rather fuck? You didn't like that I was thinking I can do whatever I want to you. That's what it is. I'm the smartest person on this fucking planet. Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't fucking pass out. Chill.
By the way,
chill the fuck out. Jesus Christ, I thought you were...
You're getting all excited.
when I
by
say
something
that
she's
we
saying,
know that this
and
is
here
part of
you're
behavior, that
really-
this is 100% fact, it's because
Trust the game.
I'm going to play back me.
Kind of want to get thrown off.
Yeah.
You might have seen this, but I'm going to share it again, and I think it's really appropriate to remember that this is material.
And she's like,
for
and you're like, all right, I know
responses
you want
and
it.
reaction.
This is
Or
material that has been wiped off the net. Fresh and Fit has now re-edited this video, so this portion that they were regaling in doesn't exist. It's not part of the video any longer. So, without further ado, once again, to make sure it never goes away. Yeah, he clearly has a dom kink. He clearly likes to be abusive in one way or another. He likes to control. It's very clear, and he explains it here. That he thinks also that women want this, or at least the women that he deals with want this. And I think that we should take note that the video, and now if you can find this video where he's in the pink shirt after the women get into a fight, and if you can find beyond the fight somewhere, I couldn't. I went searching. Even in the Wayback Machine, this video has been edited and removed. So, as I said, without further ado, I'm going to disappear for a minute, let me from a minute ago with a little bit longer hair take over. And you can tell me for yourself whether or not the things he's accused of and now charged with sound familiar. Yes, indeed, Emily. Oh, yeah, you go to YouTube and name edit. Yes, indeed. And if you hear me, if somebody hears two of me, that's because there is now, ladies and gentlemen, two of me. Well, that's why you put a case on.
I don't know, but my phone was thrown.
No, your
phone.
Oh, someone's phone's been thrown, like mine. No big deal. It's not like I paid for everything on my own. Like,
you know what's funny? What's funny is when they said to me, Andrew, you're the special guest, decide that I was gonna say, you know what, deep down I'm a gentleman. I think we should give him a second chance. Yeah. But she just wouldn't shut up for the 3 seconds I needed. I needed 3 seconds to save her. I was like, give me 3 seconds and I'll fix all this. I'll smooth it out. I'll be like, Myron, don't worry, she's a little bit drunk. Yeah. I'm like, listen, baby,
providing
chill.
Safety.
You know, I would have, that's right. I would have been a gentleman about it all. But she was just start running her mouth, and now that's what happened.
There's a lot of effort.
Now the girls in Miami.
Now she's on the streets. So it's your game. I think some of these girls who get thrown off kind of want to get thrown off.
Yeah.
I was just it's kind of like a sadistic thing when they're like, you know, when a chick's in your face, like slap me, hit me, I dare you, and she's like, and you're like, all right, I know you want it.
And reaction.
Beat it up, nigga.
Here
That's a charge. Girls come to me and go, yeah, beat it up. I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. No, I mean it. No, bitch, I mean it.
Okay. This is where I gotta take it down a notch. I do not, in any way, shape, or form, believe and or want to represent this person. But I must share this video because if you haven't seen how serious this is, or how serious he is about this. Oh yes, if you've not seen this video, no, the viciousness. I'm glad that I
of
this human have it because it's gone and it's been wiped out, folks. I would ask this is again, deleted material right here.
To
emulate the character of
This
is
this
before
person.
he was charged. When he felt
what he says,
the freedom to say whatever the fuck he felt like saying.
Do you think that is what makes the world a better place, or you a better person, or a more winning personality?
Well, I appreciate that point of view. I can't imagine who would want to sleep with him, but we don't have to because she's in this video too.
I would ask you this, to ask yourself if you're a grown person, or a young man, or a young woman listening to this. Or anyone, pretty much. I mean, just get some alien watching the show. Thanks for joining us. Sega Reticula. Anyways. Look at the seriousness with which he chose to add this video. This is on their site. I did not stitch this.
Did you lose connection there, Lita?
People who live under these terms.
Oh, the video. So long as the background's moving, you know we're still live.
To control them and their environment out of fear.
And the dancing. You know, we got a dancing little guy down here.
Gangster tactics. It's one of the oldest tactics of anyone who didn't have the capability of having other people work with them, and they knew it. So their only last tactic was fear through violence. And this is crazy. So please, do not hold it against me that I'm sharing this. I think that people need to see this because it's what is important to know about this person. And I can only gather that these words will come to haunt him. Once again, their stitch.
And little did I know.
Mine. I guarantee I changed the way you look at sex forever. You're gonna be fucking crying. I won't cry. I bet you cry, bitch. I bet you fucking cry. Don't challenge me. You're effectively challenging me to a fight now. You're saying I wouldn't cry. You're challenging me to a fight. Sex is an act of violence.
with him. He thinks that it's a challenge to a fight. That there's an equivalence there. Oh yeah, he thinks that sex is fighting. For sure. That's the root of this Fresh and Fit crowd. That's the root of the manosphere. Or its main icon at this moment, now that Kevin Samuels has passed. And Rollo never mattered. Peterson is really a religious character, more so than anything else. And Nick Fuentes has never been laid, so he wants a monkey and a caretaker. This is what they truly believe at their root. Because their actions speak louder than even their words. Because if this is just bluster, that's even worse. It means if he was feigning and playing make-believe to plume and peacock around, that's even worse. Because he's trying to get other people to emulate so that he seems and gets more powerful. And he wants to make it normalized at that moment in time, which he had. I mean, the effects were clear. Whatever podcast, Pearly Things, even Abba and Preach for a while were singing his praise. Fresh and Fit. These are all just spin-offs of his concepts. There's so many more. There's so many more. The Passport Bros, everybody trying to go to Dubai. Yeah, why would anybody, Jem Vital says, listen to an almost 30-year-old virgin with an identity crisis? Nick is the worst. Man, tell me about him. And actually, since you mentioned that, since you mentioned it, and Jem, it's been a minute since you've been here, so real quickly, let me just real quickly jump over to one of my favorite little pieces here that just, you can't deny him. You just can't deny. You can't deny that this guy. Excuse me. I'm going to shrink this on down so you all can get a good idea of. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the wrong one. That's Destiny using the N-bomb and or I'm sorry, not incorrect on my part. That's not him using the N-bomb. That is. Hold on a second. Let me find where our boy, where our guy is, because I have a great. Oh, here it is. How could I miss? This is so important. Because if you didn't, I mean, I don't know if you know this, and you should probably know this, Jim, because it's such important information for all of us.
I think if anything, it makes me less gay. If anything, it makes me not gay, as opposed to less gay. Not that there's any gay, but it makes me not gay. Well, because think about it this way. A gay people do date girls all the time. Really? So what is he actually saying here? What, people calling me gay because I've never had a girlfriend?
Yeah.
I think if anything, it makes me less gay.
Sure.
If anything, it makes me not gay.
Okay, but explain then
the thought of me and my pet monkey and my wife taking care of us, and also I get to have sex with her.
Dennis
now,
is
that's
worse
a
than
winner.
Kevin Samuels.
That's a winner chicken dinner. It's like I get a caretaker, and I get a monkey, and occasionally I'll have sex with my wife, and then probably kids later on, and then me and
this
my
is the idea
sons.
from the almost 30-year-old virgin.
What, people calling me gay because I've never had a girlfriend?
Yes, very
I
good.
think if anything, it makes me less gay.
Sure. Okay, buddy. Okay. Okay. Anyhow, that's one of the subsidiary influences.
You're saying I can't hurt you? You're out of your fucking mind? Because it's not going to be like, oh, hurt them enough so they enjoy it. No, I'm just going to straight hurt you. I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then. My out of your fucking mind? Because it's not going to be like, oh, hurt them enough so they enjoy it. No, I'm just going to straight hurt you. I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction.
My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then. Yeah, you want to.
I bet you cry then. I'm sorry. This is freaking disturbing. I mean, he's dead serious. Clearly, this guy who was a USC boxer. Alba says they're all heinous monsters. And at the end of this, including Dennis. And yeah, delusional denial of his backing up. Do what he's saying. Because of course, if you're a real man, you gotta show your evidence. Wow. Right, guy. When you're thinking that hard about how to show everybody that you are what you want them to think or that you want to be, let's everyone know that you're just holding your guards out. That's not who you are. It's who you want to be. And so you'll do anything to be that. Because you aren't that. You made yourself into that, and good on you for making something of yourself. But if you become a demon that hurts people and uses them up and steals their money or whatever, treats them poorly, uses that.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting.
On the streets, so trust your game. I think some of these girls who get thrown off kind of want to get thrown off.
Yeah,
I was just kind of like a sadistic.
Yeah, you want to.
So that he seems and gets.
Because it's not going to be like, oh, hurt them enough so they enjoy it. No, I'm just going to straight hurt you. I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then. Yeah, you want to.
Has done it. And at the end of this, you'll see his evidence of his backing up. Do what he's saying. Because of course, if you're a real man, you gotta show your evidence. Wow. Yeah, I bet he's hating that he did that. Right, guy. When you're thinking that hard about how to show everybody that you are what you want them to think or that you want to be. Well, you want to know something interesting, actually? Talk about an abuser of all kinds of things and grifter. So a year ago, he was an atheist, and then he became a Christian, and then once he was charged and in jail, he became a Muslim. Talk about an arc. Convenient ass arc. Wow. I think he was trying to get away with having days off for Ramadan or something. Who knows? Yeah. This guy would lie to his own mom. You're just holding your guards out. That's not who you are. It's who you That's my opinion, by the way. And so I don't know that anything, to be that. I feel like you would. Because you aren't that. You made yourself into that, and good on you for making something of yourself. But if you become a demon that hurts people and uses them up and steals their money, he's using the mask of religion, treats them poorly, uses that to climb a human ladder, what are you but the lowest rung of con man, the lowest rung of decrepit thief, because you couldn't even figure out how to make your con look legit without harming people to keep them in place.
Fucking
yes.
Girls running their mouth. I just start beating the fuck out of them, not even having sex. They love it more than ever. They like it more. The less sex you have with them, the better. She asked for it.
Look, I apologize.
Are you gonna do it like a man this time?
What do you mean like a man this time? Last time I beat you
Last time.
like a pussy. I beat you so bad, I've been called a woman beater all over the fucking country.
To me, that was like a pussy. You need to do it like a real man.
And I just have to stop here. Yeah, and enjoy the view. That too. Toxic interaction. This is the dynamic that they're actually talking about when they're selling their ideas. This is the one that they really want. She wants to be beaten up. Apparently, because in action, that's what they're selling. So I'm confused as to what other message we're supposed to get from this. Be a violent pimp. Wow. And nothing against the real pimps in the world, because their violence is nothing comparative to this, to be frank with you. And not to, false equivalency. I always point this out. But this devolves our conversation. This devolves our social equanimity. Because some people will never let it balance out, and they'll actively substantiate that imbalance with bad behavior and abuse of anything they can, and then a denial that what they're doing is just obviously messed up for everybody else except for them. Once again, it's about looking up to see who benefits. It's always going to be a tiny little group of, honestly, con men. Most of the time, though, the good ones, they figure out how to do it so none of you even feel. So none of us ever feel it. We just stand in our cage behind our ideology and our tribe and scream at each other. And in this case, this is a tribal leader of one of the concepts currently out there in the manosphere. Today, let's see if I can pull it up. Maybe you got more evidence. Yeah. Make sure, folks, it's really a manipulative, abusive environment, and so you can take it in and chew on it and think about it, please.
All right, so I'm running this back to a spot, so we'll hear it once more, because, by the way, once again, this is deleted material, so
flipping insane.
We want to make sure to get it into a number of different spaces.
This person. But I must share this video, because if you haven't seen how serious this is, or how serious he is about this, then you may not know the viciousness of this human. And if you don't, I would ask you again, do you want to emulate the character of this person after it served? Look at the seriousness of these terms. Work with them, live against me.
Sorry. Look at sex forever. You're gonna be fucking crying. I won't cry.
Their stitch, not mine.
I guarantee I changed the way you look at sex forever. You're gonna be fucking crying. I won't cry. I bet you cry, bitch. I bet you fucking cry. Don't challenge me. You're effectively challenging me to a fight now. You're saying I wouldn't cry. You're challenging me to a fight.
Sex is an act of violence with him. He thinks that it's a challenge to a fight. That there's an equivalence there. That's the root of this fresh and fit crowd. That's the root of the manosphere, or its main icon at this moment, now that Kevin Samuels has passed. And Jordan Peterson is really a religious character more so than anything else. This is
what they truly believe.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having fucked. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam.
But sure, we're not doing a thing this evening. Kathy could easily do without the Kierans tonight. But Frank knows he may need Jim's vote when the council meets next week on that zoning proposition. So in they come. Well, that's the end of Mozart for tonight. It's tough, but Frank usually knows what he's doing. And so the Hartfords entertain the Kierans. It isn't exactly what either family planned or exactly what the ladies wanted, but it won't be such a bad evening. Across town
Because
at the
you've got
Burns,
to
it's the
endure,
old team
right?
at work.
In their
Stresses,
mind,
safety
you've got to
factors,
endure
underpinnings.
for the sake
The competition only has a month to go and the second floor drawings haven't even been started.
of the street and the belief
Who can that be at this hour?
and the man
Not Molly nor Jack Hazlitt.
and the concepts they'd sell you.
Bill Martin. Be nice to see him and Eve
That
soon.
frankly
What's
sound
that?
a
They want us
lot
to go to the movies tonight?
It's a sad reality. Our
Like
state
this.
is one of.
Will tell you
Money.
he used to run them.
Well, you a pimp, huh? Yeah. I know how to deal with ladies. Yeah.
It gave you power.
I already have power, but yeah, it gave you some kind of, satisfaction, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I can have a woman do whatever I want when I want.
Galen Harper will also tell you he left those 10 plus years of pimping behind.
I think about
Emergency meetings are the core of our monumental success. This chick, who I'm still with, is cray cray. Listen to her. Turn around. Look. What do you mean like a man this time? Like a pussy. That I've been called a woman beater all over the fucking country. You're fucking crazy. You have mental problems. Does that look like a victim to you?
Andrew, I'm just saying, you should
She was like, you didn't beat me enough!
You should have bought her a cupcake. I don't think you actually know anything about women.
I should have bought her a cupcake, right?
Yeah.
So this is the victim.
Yeah.
This is the alleged woman I beat up. Woo!
And you know,
you can tell what a victim she is. And once again, everyone knows this is one of those things that's going to stick. Yes. I'm a woman beater forever.
Yeah.
I'm a woman beater. I'm a sex trafficker.
We hope it might stick.
I don't.
Because this is indicative of your
you know
character,
what?
dude. And
along
frankly,
with the 100,
I don't think you should get away with it.
I also get 100 DMs from
you should be
beautiful
accountable
women that
to your
these dorks, the
behaviors,
kind of
your
guy who would call me a
associations,
sex
your actions, and your
trafficker or a woman
influences.
beater. He DMs girls on Instagram, they ignore it.
Just like everybody
Those
else.
same girls DM me, and guess what they say?
But because you're full of
Please
bullshit,
hit me with a belt.
and you've heard so many,
Yeah, basically.
in the effects,
Finally, put me
in
in
your
line,
words.
wink face. The number of girls who send me links to the video saying, my
I
turn,
think you should
smiley.
pay any penalty the law
It's
decides
crazy.
you
Who
should
are
pay.
married
Yeah,
to
like-
men who are weak.
Yeah, like
Married
that's my
women.
opinion. And then Ethan say, this guy's actually a sex trafficker. Da-da-da. And then all his comments full of, yeah, he's a horrible person. And then a hot girl might catch a glimpse. Emergency meetings are the core of our monumental success. This chick, who I'm still with, is cray cray. Listen to her. Turn around.
And as usual, I bury the lead.
Sally was approached by Andrew when she was 20. Due to fears of harassment from his fan base, she's withholding her real name.
First night that I worked for him, Andrew bought me like 5 bottles of wine. So I got completely drunk because I'd never done webcam work.
So I didn't
was
want you
very,
walking
very
away
nervous.
thinking that this is all out of
Then
context.
that night, we were just sitting on the bed and Andrew punched me in my arm. I went to the bathroom and cried. It really, really hurt to have someone just hit me in the arm for no reason. I was very confused. Sorry. Sorry, I don't want to cry.
It's okay.
These people are
So then when I
scarred
came out of the bathroom,
by the experiences.
he was super, super nice. Like, From what I remember, Andrew didn't have any alcohol at all. It was literally just me. That night we cuddled and we ended up having sex, and I was really, really drunk. That was my first night. Then it was kind of like every single night I would work, but as soon as he handed me my money, I soon forgot about him hitting me and everything else.
So an
and
example
it was just
of
like, wow,
him
I've got all this money
doing
now.
what he's
like,
described.
He would just pay me a flat fee of £15 an hour, which back then was fantastic. I was making £5 an hour at my 9-to-5 job. But when you look at the money that I was actually bringing in, it just doesn't even scratch the surface.
Syndrome.
Were there any other instances where there was physical abuse?
Yeah, so when we moved into the bigger apartment, that's when more girls started coming into the apartment to work for Andrew. And that's when I just
By the way, this is
so
the
much, like,
English
verbal,
report.
physical, not just
the
me,
UK
but
stuff that they talk
the
about.
other women
Excuse me.
involved. And it just got worse over time. Andrew would call us lazy hoes. I saw him smack girls with a belt because she wanted a lion. He used to strangle us as well.
So you understand that this isn't just hyperbolic language that he's using.
When he came into the bedroom, me and the other girl, we would sleep in the same bed with Andrew, but at this time the girl had a partner, so she was not interested in Andrew at all. And I had gone to the shower, I came back and I noticed he was, like, I saw him raping her. And
serious trauma. Yes.
when he threatened to beat me up in the bathroom, and he said, "Oh, I don't give a fuck if you call the police, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." That's kind of when I knew, I had to get out of there. I stopped working for Andrew about March, April time, and I went to the police shortly after that. Nothing was done, really. They didn't take me in for questioning, they didn't interview me. The other girl that he had raped, she went to the police, and then that's when they arrested him and took him into custody for like 2 days. When Andrew was arrested,
this is not the only time, apparently, that happened.
Taken in for a proper interview, and it kind of just got left. I would send emails asking them to update, I'd hear nothing back.
When we reached out to Hertfordshire Police about this, they had this to say. We acknowledge that there were some delays to the investigation. This was addressed at the time and apologies were made. The case was only closed in late 2019 after a case file had been sent to the Crown Prosecution Service and they took the decision not to prosecute. All those involved in the investigation were further updated at the time. The Crown Prosecution Service said, in this case we carefully reviewed all the evidence provided by the police regarding each complainant and concluded it did not meet our legal test and there was no realistic prospect of a conviction. We sent a letter to each complainant explaining our decision not to charge.
When he went into Big Brother, that's when they started to take things seriously. He's on TV, we need to get him out. They told me, oh, the producers don't want to release him because he's proving to be entertaining. He was removed because of this ongoing
to
police
be
case.
entertaining.
And it kind of just got left at like 2016.
We reached out to Banijay UK, the company behind Big Brother, and they said, as soon as we were made aware by Hertfordshire Police on the 8th of June 2016 that Andrew Tate was being investigated by the police, we began a process of extensive consultation with Channel 5 and legal teams, including the lawyers representing Andrew Tate. During this period, and whilst we sought to clarify the details required by Channel 5 on the police investigation, Andrew was closely monitored at all times. He was removed from the house on the 13th of June. And since then, has anything come of it?
Unfortunately, they turned around and just said, oh, we can't continue this case anymore.
Alba says that PTSD, yes, sexually assaulted by someone they know. I worked at a volunteer shelter for abused women and children a few years back. I'm sorry that anybody has to go through that. That's terrible. And you can hear the pain from
witnessed
in her voice.
Occurring. Did that not count as evidence for them?
No. They openly said it's really, really difficult to prove rape. Very difficult.
In the UK, only 1 in 100 reported rapes result in a charge, let alone a conviction.
I think people have this perception that if you tell someone that you've been raped, that person instantly goes to prison. They don't realise that it's so hard
not the truth.
to convict someone of rape.
In a statement issued via his lawyer in Romania, Tate denied assault or rape. He said, "They wanted money because I fired them. The police understood after the investigation that I am innocent, and the police found messages from the girls' phones where they were talking between themselves and planning to lie about me." Sally said, "The CPS sent a letter saying that one of the reasons they didn't charge Tate was because they found voice notes on our phones where we talked about whether we should tell the police that he gave us alcohol. We were talking about it because that is what happened. He used to get us drunk."
So that information that should have been evidence.
You know, you see all these young men talking
yes,
about
he is
how
an
he's
agent
such a
of
great
confusion.
guy and he's their idol and
Nothing
stuff.
happened in the end
Difficult
until
to see.
recently.
There are better role models out there. Don't be fooled by all the money and the nice cars and all the women. Working on yourself and becoming a better man and better mindset, yeah, but real men don't lay their hands on women.
This is the truth. And I wanted to leave us with that, just so you understood that we aren't talking about imaginary ideas. We aren't talking about something that doesn't apply, that didn't happen, that was some hyperbolic language, that is some hypothetical. No, people were hurt repeatedly, and the guy, it was in his nature, it's in his nature, it's who he is. So you can just apply a lot to that. And yes, we can assume a lot out of his own words. Oh, shit. Yeah, apparently so. They just took my stream down. Wow. Don't know what happened there. Interesting. Sorry, folks. Apparently, wow, did I get hit, what happened here? Wow. Policy violations, it says. All right, well, let's find out what that's about. Yeah, let's go over to Twitch, folks. Sorry about that. I was gonna finish the show up anyways. All right, well, now that I'm looking at Twitch, interesting. I'm gonna have to look and see what they actually hit me for here. And thanks for sticking around. I was planning on closing the show out on that anyways, so it's hilarious. And apparently, let me see. Well, I have no notifications. I'll have to look at the content. And live. Hold on a second. Let me see what they hit me with. Oh my. Sex call in. Get fired up. Deleted material. Destiny. Bandwidth. Call me. Andrew Tate. Red pill. Edgelords aren't okay. Wow. They really, they just wiped that shit right on out. I guess so. It may be that that's copywritten material, but still, kind of lets you all know what's going on. Yeah. I mean, this is really interesting, by the way. Let me look at my content input. Hilarious. By the way, my impressions have gone up 160% in the last 28 days, so that maybe could be that or vice. Yeah. No, I think, and by the way, if you want, you guys can go ahead and let YouTube know what you feel about that, because that's what you just saw with censorship. When I was using material that not only have I used before, but I've also It's news and I'm reusing it, and yeah, copyright law doesn't stop you from reusing for editorial purpose. Just so you all know, what you just witnessed was actually, in my opinion, law breaking, actually. So YouTube and I have an issue. And thank you for continuing on. Yeah, I mean, it's not even in here, by the way. So unlisted. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me see. I'm just not seeing it. Wow. They really fucking did that, didn't they? You saw what happens. Anyhow, this is fascinating. At least on Twitch, I can download this. That's amazing. Yeah, well, you know what, folks? I'm going to end off the stream because I need to figure out what happened anyways. As we all know, at the end of the day, all we can do is remind each other. Oh, I have, yeah, I mean, it's hard to, it's hard to believe that just went down that way. And that's also why I'm multi-streaming. It's because just in case shit like that does happen, I don't want the revolution and the evolution not to be streamed. In any case, at the end of the day, when you reach out, the only thing I can ask from any of you is that we look up. Thanks so much for being here. Looks like I gotta write a letter in defense of myself to YouTube for using material. I don't even know what the issue was. All right. Hope you're having a great day, and don't forget, put your hand out to others. Look up.